Okay. So we're going to do a little impromptu one-shot from my buddy Andre, who runs a phenomenal game that I'm in, and it's great to be actually have him on the other side of the screen. So we're going to do a little one-shot that I call Trouble on the King's Road, and got 4 awesome players that are willing to put their metal against whatever I'm going to throw at them for the next few hours. So with that, we're just going to jump right in. What I would encourage the players to do is, as you get your moments, use those moments to kind of describe or share your character, what you want to share about your character to the others. Now you guys have been in the service of the Grand Duke Gustav von Stein, who, so you guys know each other. You've traveled together. You're actually part of this retinue that was supposed to relieve another retinue that is guarding this wagon that is traveling south on the King's Road. And it's overdue. And so what you've decided is you've sent half of your number. So first thing we're going to do is I need the names of 2 red shirts that are traveling with the 4 of you.
Leopold Bremmel.
Leopold, nice.
Albert Bain.
Albert, all right. So the 6 of you are riding north. It's cool. It's cold. It's just, it's late morning. There's a slight mist coming down. It's mid-spring. But in the north of Faroon, in the Silver Marches, the winter never really lets go. You can still feel the bite of the winter that has kind of released its grip for now. The road itself is rutted and muddy. You've been riding. It's just miserable conditions. Who among you would take the lead in your group as you ride, looking for this wagon and retinue?
Cornelius Broadman is an outdoorsman. I believe he would he'd be in the lead unless he'd be happy to be joined by anyone else, but he would be moving forward with anticipation. He'd be near the front.
Right, perfect. Yeah, so you're riding ahead, and you oftentimes would ride ahead, scouting, looking for threats. And you notice as you're riding along, you're the first to see it. The road itself, beyond the ruts of wagons, you see it's been disturbed, torn up, chunks of earth and stone tossed like off in many directions in one section of the road. So Cornelius, you would see that first.
Lads, perhaps our companions are this way. It seems that the ground has been torn up royally. Let's have a look.
Right, as the rest of you catch up to Cornelius, you would see it too. And Cornelius, as you're looking down, waiting for the others, you see that it looks like that this was torn up by like the hooves of horses. You see wagon wheels have kind of veered off of the main road. Now, and I should also let you know that you guys are actually, it's a forested road. So this forest, pretty dense forest on either side of you. There's a fog that's just not letting go. It's just kind of pervading on either side. Visibility is probably somewhat limited when on the road itself. Probably limiting you to maybe several hundred yards. But yeah, if everyone would like to give me a perception roll, that would be great. All right. Jax, you're killing me, man. All right. So Davrick, Cornelius, and Carl, you see the road. There's definitely something has happened here. Carl, you notice that several of the branches on trees to your left have been sheared off, and many of the bushes have been like trampled over. And you notice as you kind of dismount and walk and look a little bit closer, you see the deep grooves in the grass earth from wagon wheels. And as you look, you can see there's almost this crude path has been kind of just torn through these trees, as if the wagon, like a wagon or some sort of cart, was driven with haste off of the road. You would also notice too, Carl, and Cornelius, you would notice what I just described as well. But you also notice too a glint under one of the bushes nearby.
Looks like we've got a trail to follow, boys. He's going to walk over to the bushes and have a look at this glint of perhaps metal or something. What does he find?
Seeing his companion investigating closer, Cornelius is going to look around, examining the woods, allowing his companion to examine this closely, hopefully with some safety, some overwatch going on there.
All right, cool. So what are Davik and Bernhard doing while the other two are kind of poking around through the on the side of the road?
Are we walking or do we have a wagon?
Oh yeah, sorry, I should tell you. You guys are all mounted.
Oh, all mounted.
Yeah.
Davik would stay on his mount and watch what they do.
Yeah, Bernhard is also going to stay on his mount, rigid back, but he's staring out towards the tree line to see, well, anything that can be seen.
Yeah, Leopold kind of leans forward, stands up in his stirrups, and leans forward in his saddle and says, "Oi, what you got there?" And you see him kind of leaning forward, trying to see what it is you guys have found. And as you pull back the branch, Carl, you immediately see a deceased body. You see that blood is matted on the livery that is covering him. You immediately notice he is one of the house guard for the Duke. For the Duke. And yeah, he's dead. But he looks as if someone had stuffed him or tried to hide him under this bush.
He'd shout back to his companions, "Doctor, found ourselves a body. One of ours."
Cornelius would quickly dismount, handing the reins of the two horses off to one of the still mounted companions, move over and do a quick examination to see if there's any life left in him or if he is in fact dead.
Yeah, just give me a quick medicine check.
Oh, not very good, I'm afraid. That'll be a 6.
Yeah, he's definitely the rigors have set in, and you would guess that he's been dead for probably the better part of an hour, maybe 2. It's really hard to say. You think that the damp conditions of the forest have really made it difficult for you to know. What you are able to see is that, clearly he did not die of normal means. As you kind of roll him over, he has 2 arrow shafts in his back.
Lads, this was done with malicious intent. Do any of you recognize these arrows? He would pull one out and pass it around to see if anyone recognizes the fletchings.
Yeah, and I realize I probably should have said this. They're shown. They had snapped when clearly he had fallen, possibly from his horse. So the shafts are probably only 3 to 4 inches sheared off.
Oh, understood. He'd examine them just the same, just see if there's anything immediately discernible. If not, he would lay them to the side, trying to lay out the body respectfully, not leave it marred, disformed.
Yeah, you hear Albert kind of say under his breath, Davik, he goes, "Oh, my God, let's hurry."
Okay. Davik would slide off of his mount onto his feet and walk up to the doctor and say, "How long has it been dead?"
Oh, it's difficult to say in these conditions. The damp, I'd put it about an hour or so. Is that correct, DM? You said about an hour.
You would probably best thing you could do is ballpark it, an hour or more.
All right, around that time frame.
Then those who have attacked have not gotten too far. Do we see traces of horse tracks away from the killing zone? And he just starts to walk around and look, trying to find tracks leading away from the place where his fellow countrymen were killed.
Perfect. Yeah. Give me an investigation, Davik. And Bernhard, I'd like you to give me an investigation roll as well.
Sure.
Okay, I got an 18.
Yeah.
13 for myself.
13. Yeah. And Cornelius, you can give me an investigation too, because you're the one that pulled one of these arrows out of poor Harry. Yeah. So Davik, you look and you can see not only you see the path that Carl saw where the wagon had passed through the woods, and you can as you look through it, it's like this rough, branches are either pushed aside or broken, but you also see thrown up earth. Very, very consistent with what horses would make. And not just horses pulling a wagon or cart, but maybe horses in pursuit. Several horses.
So I would say it appears that they have taken flight on mounts in this direction. We should follow.
Right. Yeah. And Cornelius and Bernhard, Cornelius, you see it first, and it's as Davik walks away, you look back down at this small, like probably 8-inch bit of arrow, and you look at the arrowhead, and you immediately recognize it, and you recognize it too, Bernhard. It's the leaf arrows used by the house guard for the Duke.
Cornelius would withdraw, horrified at this sight, and silently pass the arrow around, pointing to the distinctive markings.
Traitors. Davik would get back on his mount. If they are traitors, we will kill them all. We must justify the attack and find out what has occurred.
Cornelius would nod and mount his horse to follow.
Perfect. You can hear grumbling behind you from Leopold and Albert at hearing that others of the house guard would possibly turn on each other. It doesn't set well for them, and they're kind of mumbling behind you, Bernhard. You see one of them kind of very nervously fingering the hilt of his sword. So where are you guys going to go? Are you guys following the path through the woods?
Davik would surrender ranging or tracking to the doctor or whoever was a lead in lead. Was it the doctor that was in the lead before?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, yeah. So he would surrender that, and he would bring up the rear of the party and let everyone follow him, and probably stay with the red shirts in the back. If they choose.
I love we're calling them all red shirts. I love it.
Yeah.
They might live. They could surprise us.
Right.
All right. Yeah. So Cornelius, you mount back up and you start riding slowly forward, followed by Carl. And you can see the path is easy to follow. A child could follow this path. Earth is just thrown up, bushes, and I just trampled by the hooves and wheels of a wagon. And it's not long in that, Carl, you hear it first. You hear this buzzing.
He raises his fist up silently to motion the party to stop, and does this with his ear, sort of motion that he can hear something. His eyes sort of dart around the forest, noticing the squirrels in the trees, the birds fluttering around away from this buzzing. But can you make out, has he any idea what this buzzing could be? Has he heard it before? Is it
Yeah, you have heard it before. You guys are not strangers to war. It's the sounds of flies feasting on dead. You've heard it on many a battlefield, and it's coming from ahead of you, further along this trail that was made.
What time of day is it?
It's late morning. So there's a very muted bit of sunlight coming down through the canopy of trees, and it's mostly cloudy. Like I said, there's like this faint drizzle that's kind of just slowly just keeping you guys damp.
Are the trees thick enough with branches that they can be climbed to see ahead?
Yes. Yeah, they said these are pretty grand trees for sure.
I talk to the red shirts and I say, ascend and find out what is going on ahead of us. We will go forward and warn us if anything comes.
Leopold and Albert obediently dismount. They hobble their horses, and each of them picks a suitable tree and starts to climb up it. Several seconds later, they're up there and they're looking ahead. You hear Albert just say, "Oh gosh," and he says, "It doesn't look good, sir."
Is there a way around?
And Albert just shakes his head to the negative. The wood is fairly dense. It kind of rises up. It's obviously not even. It's jutted with rocks and whatnot. You can see where whatever cart or wagon was chased through this wood, you can see where it kind of skipped and hopped over rocks.
Calm down. We will go through, I assume. And he looks around at everyone else to get confirmation.
All right, cool. So what is everybody else doing when these two men are climbing up the tree and looking? Are you guys doing anything else, or are you just kind of patiently waiting for them to kind of look ahead?
The doctor, always with medical things in mind, would seek to aid them in their climb, and then help them withdraw if possible, looking to make sure the party stays healthy while they're adventuring.
Perfect. So they get back down, and Albert's face is just gone white, and he's shaking his head, and he looks to his companion Leopold, and then he looks at the rest of you, and he says, I've not seen anything like that before. He goes, it's just there past those bushes. And you can see where a large kind of like outcropping of bushes has just been kind of shown apart, kind of opening up to what appears to be some sort of clearing. And he just points a shaking finger that way, and he says, dead. They're just all dead.
You should approach with caution. I'll move around the side, dismounted. I can warn you of any ambush.
I will bring up the rear. Let us ensure the doctor remains healthy as well.
The doctor nods and responds, so be to us all. Presenting a holy symbol before him, he will cast Bless on the party, adding a D4 to saving throws and attack rolls.
Perfect. Yeah. So you give this blessing. Which deity do you serve?
Whatever's suitable for the setting. I didn't pick one in specific.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll say Saloon. The blessings of Saloon you put upon those companions you travel with. You guys feel that warm embrace as his divine power emboldens you. Leopold and Albert draw their swords and they start to move forward. Only after Leopold kind of gives a quick, firm shake to Albert and says, "Pull yourself together, man. This is not the first time you've seen death." And they start moving forward along with Bernhard and Carl, with Davrick and Cornelius bringing up the rear. If I hear correctly?
Yes, I would definitely protect the doctor.
Cool.
I would suggest to the party before we start heading off that everyone, at least those that are taking the clearing path, dismount. And he'll say, I'd rather be surprised on foot than surprised on horseback. Just in case.
I agree. I think he'll tie up his horse onto a nearest tree and leave it behind. Doesn't want it to be frightened by the smell that I'm sure is incoming.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so you all hobble your horses and move forward cautiously on foot. Everyone, give me a stealth roll. And so we're going to use a party stealth optional rule. So you guys will all roll stealth, and the average will and the majority will decide on stealth. You're fairly quietly, and with the aid of probably of the rain, it hasn't done a lot to dampen the tree fall. So you move fairly quietly into this clearing. Carl and Bernhard, you see it first. It's just a scene of utter carnage. Bodies are strewn about this clearing. There's a wagon tipped over onto its side, and she appears to be like it's cracked in two, laying next to a tree. You see several horses also, some of them killed outright, others looking as though they've been torn asunder.
Are any of them still alive?
It's hard to say. You see nothing moving beyond flies. You see flies buzzing around. You see a couple of crows, and they're kind of hopping along, pecking at a few of the corpses.
Bernhard will try and make his way silently into the middle of this kind of massacre, looking for any more signs of arrows, any kind of, blades maybe stuck in some of the horses or some of the men. Anything that indicates.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you can give me anyone that would like to move into the clearing and do that. Just give me an investigation or a medicine, whichever one you'd like to use. Is anyone doing anything other than maybe looking at the dead?
Carl would the sort of live movement that doesn't particularly fit one of his age. He'd like to skirt around the outside of the clearing, sort of keeping a little way back into the forest, checking for the threats actually in the forest itself.
Okay, cool. So you can give me a perception roll then. Anyone else? So if everyone else is just doing their investigation or medicine. And how about you, Davik?
Sorry, it's hard to say. I think with at least 3 people investigating, Davik would stand with his sword drawn because he doesn't trust the situation. We've already seen hoof prints coming toward this direction, and now we see a second massacre. We don't know the distance of which the footprints have leave from this point. They could be watching us right now. So Davik is actually going to pull on the doctor and try and just persuade him to go closer to the edge where the forest lies instead of the opening, because there's no way to tell whether or not we're being tracked or watched at this moment.
Perfect. So Leopold and Albert move into the carnage with Bernhard. As you're looking through, you see that they all appear to be dead. You see several of the horses. Well, first thing you see 4 bodies of house guard. 3 of them appear as if they were killed in a similar fashion as the one you found out by the road. Either sword strikes or arrow blows. Several of them have arrows in them, but you also see the cuts from some sort of bladed weapon. Similarly with half of the horses. So 2 of the horses also have like arrows and sword blows on them that seem to have taken them down. However, the horses that were pulling the wagons seem as though they were torn. One of them, its innards have been like ripped clean out, and the haunch of the second is totally missing. I mean, you could smell the death, Bernhard. It's thick. The fear on a couple of these men is just palatable. As you walk further over, checking out these horses, you come across what's left of yet another man. But this one looks as though he's been torn apart, like totally ripped in half. Blood spattering his fear-ridden face is just, and his blank eyes just are staring up at you.
I'll reach out and close his eyes. Kind of look around me again, looking at these horses and seeing just the sheer brutality that's been forced upon them. Probably being a military man, I would know that the military, I'm guessing, don't usually have hounds or something that could rip a horse like this. So I'm going to open up my divine sense just in case.
Perfect. Yep. Carl, you see nothing. You kind of creep around the outskirts of this, and you're watching very carefully with trained eyes, Davik, and you see nothing. You're watching the tree line. You're looking for any sense of movement. You see none. You hear nothing beyond just the sound of like small wildlife kind of jumping and moving through the underbrush. You hear birds kind of alighting. Of course, you see the crows. You hear them call, ah, 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 and you hear others calling. So before long, you know there will be feasting upon the dead here. Is anyone near the wagon? If you are, or this coach, it's not really a wagon, it's a coach. They can give me an investigation roll if they are, or perception.
At this point, while they're doing that, Davik would separate from the doctor and implore him to go help them while he goes to circle around and look for tracks leading away from the kill.
Perfect. All right, good. So give me a perception roll then, Davik. So Davik, you start to move around cautiously looking for other tracks. Would you be doing that too, Carl? I'm just curious as you kind of say you're moving around this. Okay.
Yeah, he's moving around checking for more threats, but if he spots anything just on the ground, he'll
So I'd like you to give me a survival roll because you're actually in the cover. And I'll tell you something. That's a good enough roll, Davik. So I'll give you something in a second. Actually, I'll do it right now while Harry's making his roll. So as you're kind of moving around and you're looking for any sign of either like maybe an like retreat or yeah, you find nothing, Carl, as you're kind of looking around. You're probably too busy looking for danger rather than looking for tracks. But as you get up to near the wagon, Davik, your breath catches in your lungs as you see the emblem, the sigil on a shattered coach door.
The sigil of the Duke.
It is the sigil of the Duke, and you immediately recognize it being one of his knights. This is not a simple wagon that he would send on a mission. This is a wagon that would have been used by someone very close to the Duke or very important.
Nobleman, perhaps?
Yes. Those are the thoughts that kind of run through your mind. Someone very important was riding in this coach.
Frustration would well up in Davik, and he would just boot his way through whatever death and muck is in the way, and he would try and the party would see him trying to tear the door off of this cart or this vehicle, and he's trying to pull it, and he's like, "They have taken a nobleman. We must find who it is."
Yeah, perfect. It's actually been knocked over onto its side, so you haul yourself up on top of, so you're actually standing on the side of this coach, and you rip what's remaining of this door off and throw it aside. You immediately smell perfume coming from inside the coach. And give me an investigation roll, Davik. What are the rest of you doing?
Having been just sort of alone in his frustration at all the death and the inability to do anything there, going from lifeless corpse to lifeless corpse, brought around by Davik's words, his time on the frontier would return to him. He spent a lot of time in the woods. He would like to attempt some tracking. The woods is his favorite terrain, and he'd be looking for their exact number, sizes, how long they passed through, trying to read the ground and determine what exactly happened here.
Excellent. So you can give me a survival at advantage, Cornelius, as you do that. And I would like you, Bernhard, to give me a perception roll as you're kind of moving through the last of these fallen. So yeah, nat 20. You see everything. Oh no!
It wasn't natural. It wasn't natural.
Not natural. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of look into this coach, and you see it, and you know it. You've smelt this before. It's the smell. It's a fragrance that is often worn by the women of the Duke's family. And as you look inside, you can see strewn about inside this coach, like bags have been ripped apart, like travel bags, and you see women's clothes just thrown willy-nilly across this coach. No one is in it.
Whoever it was have taken the women, and they have also raided their bags. Petty thieves no more, considering the damage we have seen here. They must take a large beast with them, I assume. But they also have the women. If they are alive, I do not know. The Raven Queen has told me nothing.
If only you had time to pray. So Bernhard, as your attention is drawn to the coach and what Davik is finding and saying, you hear this gurgled whimper coming from the front of the coach.
Yeah, instinctively I'll get up off my haunches and make my way towards where the sound emanated from.
Yeah, and as you walk around to the front of this coach, you can see the coachman, the one that was driving it, he's kind of pinned about mid-chest. This coach has fallen atop him. You can see blood is just bubbling up out of his mouth. His eyes, you see them trying to focus on you, and he kind of weakly reaches for you with his left hand. He's like, help me.
I'll grab him by the left hand, and I'll kind of look up and look around shout out for the doctor.
He's
Cornelius would bustle over as quick as he could.
Yeah. So what you would have seen before you kind of your attention is pulled away from looking for tracks. You find at least two distinct sets of tracks leading away from this scene of death. And it seems as though one might be following the other. And then you're drawn over to this man pinned underneath the coach. He's looking at you. There's like panic in his face. Bernhard, you know this man. You've probably had many a drink with him. He's like, help me.
Yeah, there's absolutely no emotional recognition on Bernhard's face. As soon as he sees the doctor move towards him, he'll say, I'll lift the coach. You can drag him out, at least stabilize the man, get some information from him.
All right, cool. Yeah, he does not look good. You've probably seen similar injuries in your time serving the Duke. Cornelius, did you say you were going to try to stabilize him?
Yes. I'll go ahead and use a cure wounds. Try to bring him around and get him stabilized, get some health in him, color back in his cheeks.
Okay. So first give me a medicine check before you cast the spell.
Oh, it's only a 7, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he doesn't look good, but you still channel your magic through him. And it does bring about some health to him. You hear his lungs clear up a little bit. But after casting your magic, you realize it's probably not enough for this poor soul. His wounds are too grievous for the magic that you have. But it does stabilize him enough so that his breathing is a little bit more, it's shallow but steady. He kind of smiles at you. He kind of looks at his plight and he goes, well, I appreciate it, but I'm done for. He goes, we were betrayed. Rusk betrayed us. He killed half of us before we knew what was happening. I tried to get away. Yeah, Rusk. Rusk is a name you all would recognize. He's called Rusk Two Swords. He's a captain of the House Guard, very skilled swordsman, ruthless, efficient. Yeah. And he said, yeah, they turned on us. And you see him just kind of, water, do you have any water?
The doctor would reach into his canteen and give him a sip, not too much, but enough to wet his mouth.
He's like, he takes a sip. He kind of just weakly hands the water skin back to you, and he's like, Sir Haldane fought bravely, but I fear he was struck down by the beast. And he coughs up a clot of blood, and kind of just rests his head back down in the damp grass.
Davik would look at the doctor and he'll say, "Will he make it?"
Out of character, I've got cure wounds and I've got spare the dying. DM, feel free to do whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
If he needs.
The only thing I'm going to do, he's
just
mortally wounded. There's no magic beyond like some greater healing that would save him. As you kind of heal him. And once you heal him, it kind of puts you on a different kind of connection with him. And as you kind of push this magic in through him, and you do what you can to kind of get as much blood out of his lungs, but then you realize his spine is broken, his intestines are ruptured, one of his lungs has been pierced by fractured ribs. This man is dead.
The doctor will give an almost imperceptible nod to the negative as he continues to work over this man.
He grabs you with what little. Oops, sorry.
Gavin.
He grabs you at your collar with what little strength he has left, Cornelius, and he pulls your face in close to his. You can smell the blood on his mouth. I mean, on his breath, and he says, "The beast, you have to save her." And he coughs and kind of just his strength gone. He lets you go, and kind of rests back down on the matted grass.
With a sigh, the doctor would close his eyes and place a napkin, a piece of cloth over his face.
He is with the Shadowfell now. The Raven Queen has him. We must go on.
The doctor would quietly relate what was said during that brief interview, anything that the others might not have heard. If it was too quiet or whispered, he would share that with the rest of the party.
Right. So the things that you heard him say, he obviously said that Drusk betrayed the group. He also said that a great beast arrived, and that Sir Heldon, which you would know, Davrick, he's one of the other knights within the house. He's one of the older knights, but he was riding with the first retinue. What you would notice is that Sir Haldane is not among the dead, though this man said that he saw him fall. And that he said that a woman was traveling that was riding in the coach before he died, and then he died.
I convey that to the party in this way. Both the woman and Haldane are not present, and we do not know where they have taken them. What do we know of this beast based upon the wounds that we have seen? Can you guesstimate how large it is?
Could I have a look at the tracks? Once again, looking now specifically for something that would match a large beast description. If he can extrapolate some rough size estimates.
Yep. Yeah. So you found these two tracks leading away. But the actual the scene itself is too chaotic. It's just too torn up. You don't find any clear tracks there, but you definitely find one of the two tracks is of this larger beast. And it's one you would say based on the stride of its feet, between foot marks, it's probably stands at around 10 feet tall or maybe more. And you also notice that at points it seems to almost walk on all fours. And then you see that there's several men that seem to be following it.
Large creature, the beast he spoke of, went off in this direction. I would estimate it to be around 10 feet tall based on its stride and footfalls. It's an overstatement to say it very dangerous, if this scene is any indication. There is also a group of men who are following behind, perhaps are traders, perhaps Rusk among them.
Yeah, that stands to reason, given that Rusk is not one of the dead. Give me a nature check to try to recognize the creature's footprint.
Also, I'd like to have a look at. You said it went. It sort of swapped between 2 and 4. Is that right? As it's moving 2 and 4 feet.
Yep.
So it went from yeah. I want to see. Does it look more like? Does it look like it could have been carrying something?
Mm-hmm.
Like when it went from So 2. Did it more go to 3 than 4? Or is it quite hard to tell? Or if it's carrying something in
Give me an investigation. As Cornelius points this out to you guys, I mean, you guys can definitely give it a little bit more scrutiny if you'd like. Yeah, you've never seen tracks like this before, ever in your life, Cornelius, even in all your time spent in the woods.
And is a non-natural 20.
Okay. Yeah. So you would see that it appears that when it puts down its left hand, there's like spatters of blood. Like it's maybe holding something in its hand that might have been bleeding or is bleeding. Maybe even the creature itself. And with that, we're just going to take a quick little bio break.
So how is everyone today? This fine Saturday.
I'm great. I'm traveling for work, so I have my weekends are just boring as hell. So I'm like, I gotta play. So I'm over here bothering Lionel. I'm like, Lionel, you gotta run a one shot. So this is actually great.
Yeah, I had a couple of games moved to next week and the week after, I think. So I'm weekend freed up a little bit. So I wanted to play something because I haven't played in a while, like a month or so. So been too busy and not in the country.
Doing well. It's a rainy day here in the Midwest. I do a lot of outdoor stuff, so I saw this thrown up on the tabletop group and thought, hey, I'll hop in. It's a good down day, good time to chill, and I liked the setting. I liked the concept you presented.
Where in the Midwest are you?
Let's see. We are in Oklahoma, thereabouts. It's a good place to be. I travel around. Missouri, Texas, different places. I actually I host paintball games. I'm in that line of work.
That's awesome. That sounds so fun. I've always wanted to paintball. I haven't done it yet.
It's a blast. Right? From your demeanors, I can tell you guys would eat it up. Your thought processes, you would love it.
So much fun. So much fun.
All right. So so you guys set off after these tracks. You would probably guess they probably maybe have an hour or more lead on you. It's really hard, like I say, it's really hard to judge given the conditions. But you set off after them. So what I just need, if Cornelius, if you're leading the group, I just need you to give me a survival roll.
All right.
And you have advantage because you are in forest.
All right. That'll be a 21.
Yeah, perfect. You have no trouble following it. And you actually get a sense that the larger tracks, the ones left by the creature, like it's making no effort to hide its tracks. You almost get a sense, having tracked beasts before, that it's like it has no fear, that it doesn't seem to care. It's kind of got what it's wanted, and it's just kind of going back. There's no sign that it's proceeding with any sort of haste or anything. So you spend a few hours tracking this, and you get a sense that maybe you're starting to gain on your quarry. And I need you to give me, anyone can give me a perception roll at this point. I imagine you guys are kind of all on your guard. Wow. Yeah. I need to know, I want you, Davrick and Bernhard, to give us some insight. What is going on for you that you rolled so poorly and you really aren't noticing anything? There's something I feel that something is going on for you that you don't notice what the other two notice.
It's the uncomfortable riding horseback for many hours and wearing heavy armor. It's starting to grate on a man of Bernhardt's size, well over 6 foot. So he's aching in the saddle at the moment. As much as he's trying not to be, it's clearly distracting him.
Davik would be watching him struggle in the saddle. That's probably going to distract him because he's concerned that he's either going to jump off and do something reckless or just do something reflexive that nobody's ready for. So I guess that would be, it's an unwarranted suspicion or a concern, but that would definitely distract him from using any perception on tracking.
Perfect. Yes. So thankfully, with the aid of Cornelius, you guys are able to navigate and find the easier path to go to and stay on trail. So Carl and Cornelius, you notice hanging from one of these branches is a bit of like scarf, like silk scarf, and there's embroidery upon it. When you look upon it, it again has the it's embroidered with the crest of the Duke's house. It's heavily scented with perfumes.
Diggory would pull a scrap down and look over to Harry's character and mouth, "Clever girl."
How high is it on the branch? Is it like high in the sky, or is it just down by ground level?
It seems like it either fell or was dropped, so it's probably right around mid chest to waist level.
Okay, so pretty high up. He'd like to take a piece and give it a stronger smell. Other than perfume, or is the perfume too overpowering? You're sort of smelling for things.
It's really overpowering, Carl. It's very just rich. Even though it's been sitting out, and I should say, so the rain is the drizzle has lessened off, so now it's just damp. But even though it's been exposed to these elements, it still has that pretty strong smell. Davrik, you again would get that sinking feeling as you see this scarf. Give me you can give me whatever kind of roll. I'm thinking like a history or an insight roll to recognize the scarf itself, having spent a lot of time in the Duke's court, being one of his knights.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, I think that would be like an insight roll. So
yeah, you can use whatever one you want.
All right, so I'll roll one d20. I get a 14 plus 2, that's 16.
Perfect. You can tell me how you do this, but I'm going to tell you what you know, and then you can tell us how you react. The name Freda comes into your mind. The Lady Freda von Stein, the youngest daughter to the Grand Duke. That's her scarf. You've seen her wear it many times in the court.
All right, he would be beyond angered. I don't even think that even just the insight of the fact that it's one, Lady Freya being the youngest female of the line, and two, being as vulnerable as she is, being taken. His frustration would be would just be manifest in this way. He would dismount and lead his horse. Ability check. What's your character's name? I'm sorry.
Bernhard.
Bernhard?
Yep.
Okay. So he would lead, his face would be flushed and red, and he would just get to the point in which he could not contain his anger, and he would say to Bernhard, very close to his horse, he would say, "They have taken Lady Freya, and I am quite tried with this situation. Whoever this is will require much more than death. I hope you agree."
He'll reply by just unclipping one of the notches, the leather straps on the sword on his back. Give you a curt nod.
Then Davik would get back on his mount immediately, just enraged, and stay silent, staying close to Bernhard because he is filled with wrath.
My lord, uh, Albert says to you, Davik, he says, I hear you say it's Lady Freya?
I would immediately draw my sword and place it upon his neck, and I would say, for the sanctity of your life, keep your mouth shut.
He puts his hands up, and he just nods, and you can see Leopold kind of because his eyes kind of drift between the two of you, and he nods as well.
He would steer close to that red shirt, and he would say, you cannot alert the others. This would cause quite an issue. Lady Freya is quite vulnerable and seen as someone that is sanctified within the house. As you know, the doctor might take not kind to this, and it may distract his function within our group. We could not afford the distraction. Now close your goddamn mouth.
And he thinks better and closes his mouth. So you guys continue to follow the path. Give me another survival roll, Cornelius, as you continue to track this. I'm assuming, Davik, you take the scarf from him?
And I conceal it.
Yes, perfect. Awesome.
Shall we continue?
That was an 8. Rolled a 2 and a 3 at advantage.
Right. So as you're kind of going along, you drift off. Give me a D4 roll real quick.
That would be a 3.
Yeah. So it's 3 hours later that you realize you've been following the wrong trail. The realization sets in to you, with dire, the most dire, I'm trying to think of the word here, consequence. Probably not, because now you have to tell Sir Davik that for the last 3 hours you've been following a false trail. So that's 3 hours you've lost in following and tracking the Lady Freya.
Who finds this out, just out of curiosity? Is it the doctor?
Right now, it's just Cornelius that knows this. He's kind of walking, he's kind of riding along, and he's kind of looking. I imagine he's looking at the trail, he's looking down at the ground, and then it kind of, maybe he's kind of sensed it for a little while, but then he rides, oh, he's gone. And then he realizes, oh, shit, we've been following the wrong trail.
And once he realizes it, he makes a bolt for it rather than face your wrath.
Hey, man, not cool to run away just because you didn't make a good roll. So we're interested to know
yes.
And that was with advantage, right? You rolled it with advantage?
Natural to natural. He snaps his stick in frustration, turns, comes back to the lads, it's a false lead. We've lost so much time. Hurry. Back to the this is the wrong track. Go. We must go. Hurry.
I will let so that's what Cornelius says. You hear Leopold say, bugger it ahead.
So which tracks have we been following? We have seen tracks. Where are they taking us? And are the human tracks still here?
Excuse me?
I think the question is which tracks do we follow?
Does
because
Cornelius
that was
have that
given to
information?
us. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said, Travis, because you kind of roboted a little bit there. So you broke up. So maybe could you repeat what you said to David?
I apologize. I don't know if my headset is operating the best today. He said we followed the wrong trail. No, we've lost too much time. Hurry, we must go back. Then Davik asked, then what trail have we been following? If he would have that, what did he discover that would lead him to believe that this is in fact the wrong trail?
You have been following a trail. You just realize it's not the trail of the beast and several of the men. You look down and you can clearly see trail sign. Give me a perception roll.
All right.
Yeah, if you're talking, I can't hear you. I don't know if the others can hear you or not. Right. So just to kind of move things forward. Oh, there he's back. Let's get a mic check, Travis.
I apologize, gentlemen. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, you might have to restart.
Mic check.
Yeah, it's your real robot-y.
All right. I apologize, guys. I got a 10 on the perception and then reset real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So just to kind of keep things moving along, and so there is a track there, and he sees a track, and he hears the sound of like shifting metal off in the distance, lost in the cover. So you don't see anything. Excuse me, but you hear something. So I would say you all hear it because you're quiet. You're kind of just sitting there. That's like that anticipation, I guess, waiting for Cornelius to answer the question, and then you hear this kind of shifting of metal.
I look at Bernhardt and I say, each time.
He won't snap another leather thong on the sheath of his sword.
I slide off my mount, draw my sword.
I'm going to turn to one of the red shirts, we'll say Leopold, and point towards a climbable tree if there's one in the vicinity. I'd like to know what we're walking into.
Okay. He nods to you and starts to shimmy up a tree. He slips a little bit because of the dampness of the bark. But he gets up there and he looks, and you see him looking, and he kind of shimmies up a little bit more, and he looks, and then he looks down to you, Bernhard, and he just shakes his head. No, he can't see anything. But you hear it again, kind of this sound of shifting metal, and then it goes kind of quiet.
I'll just shake my head back at him and whisper or mutter under my breath, useless.
Is there any way of knowing the direction of this sound, or is it fairly quiet?
It's fairly quiet. There's not much in the way of background sound. There's not a lot. You don't hear a lot in the way of wildlife or birds or anything like that. It's almost like this eerie peace. There's still that kind of that faint fog, just kind of gripping at certain air in the lows, the kind of the gully areas of the forest. You hear the dripping of water from leaves, and then, like I said, like every couple of seconds, you hear that kind of that shrink, kind of like metal shifting on metal.
Perhaps cups his ears and listens more intently. Is it just every sort of maybe like 30 seconds or something like that? Or a bit longer gaps?
It's pretty. It's not. It's not following a set. It's not like every 6 seconds, but it's like It's random.
Yeah, it's a sword fight. He says that out loud. That's what he
Okay.
thinks.
So
I think that's
Davik
a
just
tool.
starts. So Davik taps him on the shoulder, and he says, "Come, let's go. Enough of this arranging. We must find out what this is now."
Yeah, and the minute you say that, Sir Davik, you hear this crashing of metal. It's loud and it just kind of echoes through the woods, and then there's silence. And it sounds like it's probably about maybe 100 or so yards ahead, lost in the woods.
Davik is not stricken with fear. He remains steady, holds his sword, and he says, "Well, are we going to find out who our friend is or not? Let us go confront this beast."
Yeah, at that point, I'll draw my sword, and if Davik makes a move, I'm following.
Cornelius will cast Bless.
Okay, you move forward, and you hear as you guys are moving forward at it, you try. I guess I'm assuming you guys are trying to be as quiet as you can be, but
Yes.
mounted in the woods. So you make some noise, and you kind of push forward. And as you push through the clearing, you see a lone man, and he's got like this branch, and he's lifting himself up. He's in full plate armor, and he has a great sword in his other hand, in his left hand. But in his right hand, he has this branch. It's probably about 6 feet long, and he seems to be using it as some sort of crutch or something. And he's kind of pushed himself back up to his feet, and he seems to be hobbling along. And he seems to be looking for something. You would recognize him, Sir Davik, as Sir Roderick Haldane.
Yeah. Sir Davik would run towards him, and he would say, "Haldane, what has happened, and where's the lady?"
He looks battered. His armor is both dented and marred with blood and dirt. He smiles weakly at you, but there's a sadness in his eyes, and he says, I should be happy to see you, but I have lost her. I have lost the Lady Freda. I have failed her, and I cannot find them. I fear that I am lost in these woods." And he does not look good. He looks pretty battered, but you can see that he has a determination in there that he's going to either die in these woods looking for her, but he'll not go back to the Duke unless he finds her. You can see that his right ankle is kind of twisted off in an odd angle. And you see him kind of when he breathes, he has that kind of that ragged, shaken breath of someone that probably has several broken ribs as well. He says, "However did you find me? Are we close?"
"We saw the bodies. That is of no consequence. Who felled you, and where did they go?"
So, sorry, I just took a bite of something. He's like, "It was that bastard. 2 swords. He turned on us, killed half of our number before we knew what he was about. I faced him in combat, but then this creature, this large beast, broke through the woods, smashed the coach, killing many of us and the horses. It left me for dead, but I feared it took her."
"What type of beast?"
"It is something I have never seen before. It seemed as though it is a living tree. Never have I seen such ferocity. It ate of the horses as it was killing us."
"A tree is eating flesh. Interesting. And you say, how far have they gone from this position? How far have they been? How far have they fled, do you think? Can you estimate?"
Yeah, he looks down, ashamed. I fear that I am lost." And you would know, and you haven't told them yet, have you, Cornelius? Oh shit! So you would know how lost he is, that he had veered from the path, but no one else would know. He goes, I fear that I am lost. And he looks up at you, and you can see the shame in this old knight's eyes. This is someone that had served this house nobly for decades.
I might make a mention. I don't want to retcon or anything here, but I did notice that Natural Explorer makes it where your group does not become lost except by magical means. Of course, you have DM Fiat. You can do anything you want. That's natural. But
Wait,
I
are you
did
rules
find that.
lawyering me? Are you rules lawyering me?
You just got lawyered.
Love it. I love it though. No, so we are going to retcon that. So everything is the same except you guys aren't lost. So you're not 3 hours lost. You're 3 hours on the trail. And thankfully, it would appear that Sir Roderick Haldane has not got lost either. And you can see that he kind of looks to the trail. So strike that last part, and we'll pick up right there. I feel that I will never catch them. And he looks, and he kind of, you see, he looks down at his twisted, broken ankle.
David consoles him and says, fear not, we are on the trail. And he pulls out the sash of Freya's and he gives it to the knight. He says, you are still with us. All you need is to be mended. He gives him Freya's sash and he says, and because of your efforts, we are on the right trail. So stand forth and ensure your own health. If you want to come with us, fine. If you need to return back to the duchy, then do that. But I tell you now, we will find her and you will be redeemed.
I just wasted my time talking to myself. He smiles at that Sir Davrick and he says, you have always been a noble man. Forgive me for my lack of faith. You are right. We will do this. And he kind of straightens up a little bit from that, and a little bit of that spark comes back to his eye. But he would slow you down with his ankle. Oh wait, he could mount up. You guys have horses.
Right, Sir Davik will give him his mount.
Would any kind of magical healing restore his broken ankle at all, or is that like a greater?
Yeah, it's kind of like lingering injuries.
Gotcha.
So if you break bones or stuff like that, it doesn't heal. You can improve the condition somewhat, but you actually need rest or actual like greater restoration, stuff like that. More powerful magic.
Dawson rules, essentially.
So Sir Davik would offer him his mount, and Sir Davik would take on by foot at this point, as he feels the leadership is important. And he would look at the doctor, and he would make sure that the doctor's concern for Freya would not overtake him, and looks at the rest of the party. And he would say something to this effect. He would say, today we will fell a beast, larger and unknown to us, and we will do it with the glory of the duchy, and none shall stop us. And he would roll leadership to see if he could inspire them, and he rolls a 19 plus 6.
Perfect. Yeah, it's very inspirational. Everyone feels now leadership at
this point in time, it wouldn't have any mechanical advantage. All I would try and do is just have their morale boosted so that they can role play as if they were not downtrodden, because all of this would be extremely depressing.
Oh, certainly.
At some point in time,
you're soaked to the bone.
Right. So we wouldn't want that. We would want their spirits to be high, and especially in light of the fact that Freya has been discovered as missing and been announced openly by this knight as somebody that was missing. I think that would have a huge impact on loyalties and concerns. So I don't want that to affect their decisions. I want their decisions to be come from a perspective of motivation and high morale.
Perfect. Awesome. So you guys can react to that as you would.
Bernhard does have a similar mindset to begin with, but I think that would make him kind of straighten up even more than his rigid military stance. Judging just by the general terrain that we're in, how thick are these trees? I'm thinking of, nope, Davrik's walking on 2 feet. So will I. Is it justifiable to just leave the horse behind?
Right. So you guys would be limited by Davrik's speed. I believe Cornelius can actually guide you guys through the woods so that you don't suffer the difficult terrain.
That is correct.
So he's able to kind of take you guys on a path while still kind of shadowing the trail, such that you guys aren't slipping and falling very, very much. It's not slowing you down. So you guys set back out on this trail. You know, one of the things that you realize is that not only are you fighting against tracking and catching up with your quarry, but you're also fighting against time as the day gets shorter and shorter. We are now into the afternoon. The sun beginning to already start to droop and dip further up in the horizon. It's so it's getting later, and you get a sense that if you're not able to catch up to this beast, these men, before darkness catches you, then chances are you'll never be able to catch them. So you guys set off again, and it's probably not long after you come across Sir Roderick that you hear and you hear it first, Carl. It's the sound of a bowstring and an arrow, and then you hear a thud and a gasp and a gurgle, and you see that Leopold is sitting on his horse, the shocked look in his face, an arrow protruding from just above his collarbone, blood gurgling up from the wound. And he just kind of looks at Alfred and slides and falls off of his horse. We need everybody to roll initiative as you hear the yells of men and the crashing of branches as these men set in upon you. I also have been remiss. I would like everybody to please award themselves an inspiration.
Like, I've been actually been rolling fairly well recently. I've got a feeling it's only when I play with you that I roll.
Oh yeah, that's how it's going to be now, Jax.
That's how it's going to be now, yeah.
I was feeling bad that you rolled that 4. Not so much now.
I'm quite happy to give up the sympathy for better rolls. Fingers crossed.
All right. So this is how I typically do it with NPCs, like Sir Roderick and Alfred. I just cinematically have them doing stuff along with you guys, and what the outcome of how well they do is really based on the outcome of how well you guys do. So let me see. Okay, so Cornelius, you're the first to act. So you see this arrow strike poor Leopold just below his throat. He falls from his horse. He appears like he may have been mortally shot by that arrow, but it's hard to say because then you hear this yell and you hear the cracking of branches. You see these men in chainmail shirts, spears, and iron pot helmets rushing forward from your east, west, and north of you, or your 3 points of that compass. And you see another man with 2 blades, one in each hand, kind of just lazily resting upon his shoulders, walking forward behind these men. You recognize him immediately as Rusk. And he yells out, he goes, "So, you'll rob me of my prize, will ya? Well, you'll die in this forest and I'll still get my prize." He says, "Kill him, boys." And he starts walking, make kind of like he's walking forward. He's got like a saunter going on. So Cornelius, you're first. There's probably about 25 feet distance from the men with the spears, and about 45 feet to Rusk.
All right. Are we all? Let's see. I'm at the head of the column. He will move 30 feet back and a little to the right, just off trail, looking for a tree, something like that, and try to find some cover. Calling out as a free action the alarm, and then looking to cast Bless once more on the party.
Okay, perfect. And so Russ continues to come forward. He has these two short swords in his hand. Those are his preferred weapons. And Davrick, you've sparred with him many times. He moves those things with speed and lethality. So not something to be yes, and saving throws. Perfect. Yes, thank you. So you know that just because they're short swords, not to sell them short. He's taken down quite a few men. So he just moves forward. He's just going to move forward his 30 feet, and he kind of yells to his men, "Take that one down!" And he points one of his blades towards you, Davrick, and the other too, and he points it to Sir Heldin.
How many are approaching?
Four that you see, but you know that there's at least one archer that took poor Leopold in the throat.
Of the four that are approaching, or the one we can't see?
There's four men with spears advancing with Rusk, and there's at least one archer somewhere in the woods, the one that took Leopold in the throat.
All right, whose turn is it?
It's your turn. I was
okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know what the initiative order was.
Yeah. So Rusk is about now he's about 30 feet away from you, and the men are still, like I said, about 25 feet away.
Okay. I will cast darkness on Rusk, and that will be that is within 60 feet of me. So a large like area of magical darkness will encircle Rusk where he is, and he will not be able to use any form of magical or natural vision to see through it. But I have devil vision, so I can see through it. So I will have advantage to any attacks within that globe so long as I have concentration, and I will try to approach him, surpassing the four that are approaching us, and go directly to Rusk.
Yeah, so your globe of darkness actually captures Rusk and one of these spearmen that's just off to his right. The other three are advancing, one more off to the right, and the other two from the left. So yeah, you can definitely close that distance. Are you mounted or not?
I remain mounted.
That's right. You weren't mounted before.
No, that's right, because I gave it to the mount, so I just run.
Yeah,
I'll try and close the distance by running.
Oh yeah, you easily can. You can definitely close the distance.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yep. Nope. And that was your action, I believe, to cast this, to do the darkness.
I also get an ability as a hex blade, and I point at Rusk, and I wave my fingers in the air, and a hex of a raven comes up, and I vocalize and I say, "Thou art hexed by the Raven Queen, and I shall slay thee in my soul." And then that's the end of that. That's my ability.
Perfect. So is he?
He would. Yeah. Next round, when I go after him, I get on 19s and 20s. They're automatically critical rolls. If I actually attack him, I get extra hits, and if I kill him, I get to suck his soul.
Nice. Love it. Awesome. He's definitely disoriented by the darkness, as is the other warrior. Carl, you're up.
Is he there? I think he doesn't realize he's muted.
Harry, you're up. You muted. We can't hear you. Can you say something, Harry? Let's see if we can hear you. All right, cool. So let's just quickly, we'll go right to you, Barnhard. We'll give Carl his turn when he jumps back in. So why don't you take action?
Oh, I wasn't ready. Yeah, I'm seeing Davik rush in. Each leadership comes into effect. Do you want me to keep going, or because I think Harry? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Just finish your turn, and then we'll let Carl go.
Okay. Yeah, Davik's leadership comes into effect. Davik, Bernhard found a newfound respect for him. Seeing him the way he treated the knight and his devotion towards his protectorate, he's going to follow him in, but he's going to cast Hunter's Mark at one of the spearmen. And I don't know what kind of position. Maybe there's one on the right of him, three on the left, from what I envision. Something along those lines.
So there's actually two on the left coming in at an angle. There were two on the right coming in at an angle, but one of them was captured in the darkness with Davrik. So there's just that one now that's outside of this globe of darkness that Davrik had cast.
Whatever one looks closest to be a threat to Davrik is the one I will cast a Hunter's Mark on and rush in and attempt to cleave in twain.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I just threw my D4 across the room, so that's great. So that is a 22 to hit.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits.
And he's going to take 14 points of damage.
Yeah, you just describe for us how you do cleave this guy in twain.
Very much. It's as I run in, the sword, the great sword in my hand is actually pointed backwards, almost like it's scraping along the ground, and he brings it up just hip height to catch him under whatever armor he's wearing, to cut along and slice that vulnerable artery and have it spurt forth blood.
Yeah, there's just an explosion of chain links as your mighty blow just rips through his chain shirt, and severing the artery just below his armpit. And yeah, he dies almost instantly, falling to the ground. Perfect. Carl, your turn, my friend.
So he's going to be looking around for the archer, but probably not spotting that much yet. But he'll run it. So there was a spearman to the right outside of the darkness.
Yeah, two. There was. I believe that's the direction that Bernhard went, and he took care of that one.
Oh, okay.
So there's two off to your left, one that's lost in the darkness with Rusk, and I want to remind folks there's at least one archer that.
Yeah, the archer's the one I'm looking for.
Right. You have a very high passive perception, so you would see this movement up in the tree, probably about 45 feet away off to the up from where Rusk was, but off to the right a little bit. And you see this kind of movement behind a tree where someone might have like ducked in behind the tree itself, popped out, fired the arrow, and dropped back. So you see some movement there.
Okay, I'm gonna surprise the shit out of this guy. I'm gonna start sprinting at him using my cunning action to dash the extra bit of distance, and then come around sort of behind the tree, swinging my short sword or whatever's there.
So you can go 60 feet. So you would go 30 feet because it's difficult terrain as you kind of move your way towards this tree. So you're about almost to the tree at the end of your turn if you just do the dash and your normal movement. If you'd like to use your action, you can actually get to the base of the tree this turn.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. So you're at the base of the tree. Yeah, give me a hide. Let's see if he notices you.
1 second. Is that just a stealth check, right?
Yeah, just a stealth.
Okay, that's a total of 11. I rolled a 3.
All right.
Fantastic.
If he sees you, you don't know.
Nope.
So you're kind of like pressed up against this tree that you think he's hiding behind. Let me see. You hear the twang of a bow again. It kind of echo through the woods. And you feel a pinch and bite as an arrow shoots down into you, Carl, up from the tree above. He had seen you. You must have cracked a branch or moved a branch just enough to give yourself away. And you're going to take 8 points of piercing damage as this arrow comes down. It grazes across your shoulder, but the last second you're able to move aside so that it doesn't quite get you as deeply. And then you hear the twang of the bow again. And this one, you're able to sidestep now knowing that you've been seen. So you take some cover. You hear him curse as he kind of, you see as drops of water fall down from the tree as he moves up above you. Perfect. Excellent. The two remaining men rush into the group. So let me see. So Cornelius, you backtracked, right? So they close in on Sir Haldane. And the one in the darkness, he's just going to try to use his movement to get out of it. So how I'm going to do that is roll a random die. So you would see this, Davrick. He actually gets turned around in the darkness and actually walks back the way he had come. And he just walks out that way. You see him stumbling, and that's his movement. And you see him stumble out off to your left. Bernhard, you see this man, this one of these spearmen kind of stumble out of the wood. And let me see. That is it. We're back to the top of the initiative. Cornelius, you're up.
Yes. Let's see. The archer. Would Cornelius have noticed him in the ensuing melee?
Let me see. You definitely would have seen him pop out. Seeing when you saw Carl run off, I mean, that obviously caught your attention. So you would see this archer come up on the tree and shoot down at him, striking him with one of the arrows, and then kind of drops back behind the tree, using it as some cover. He's not full cover, though. You can kind of see a bit of him now that you know where he is.
All right. Let's see. Now, I wanted to be clear on something before I continue. Human variant, that's okay, or not. I'm comfortable running either way. At the
of course, it doesn't help. It doesn't help if I answer your question with myself muted. It doesn't matter for this one shot. It really the only thing I said is no monks. I just don't like monks. But other than that, you can use any race you wanted.
All right. In that case, he will take the sharpshooter feat from his position behind a tree or a bush or whatever he's found. He will activate sharpshooter for -5. And we will try to attack that archer.
I know you are, Harry.
That'll be a 10 to hit. I doubt it does.
Yeah, no, thunk. It hits solidly in the tree.
All right. Drawing on his training as a war priest, as a bonus action, he will take an additional attack and try for that guy again.
Yep.
Natural 20.
Oh,
For
nice.
a total of 23.
Yeah, so you get him just as he's coming out. How much damage did you do?
Let's see. Just off sharpshooter, that'd be a 20. And I can add dice if you need me to.
20 damage? Yeah. So he just falls. He falls dead next to you, Carl. An arrow pierced straight through him. Awesome.
The doctor gives a little salute in your direction. I got you.
Yeah. Stole my damn kill. While were we playing Counter-Strike? All right. Perfect. And are you doing anything else? You still have a movement action.
If there's any better cover within 30 feet, that'd be great, or he'll fall back further. No. You think that you've dealt with the threat, the archer threat, but you could fall back further if you wanted. He'd like about 60 feet from the front line if he can get it.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, you can definitely do that then. So that'd drop you back probably about 45 feet from Sir Haldane, who is engaged with two of these spearmen. They're kind of jabbing their spears up at him, and he seems to be able to fend them off so far with his great sword. And so now it brings us to Rusk. Rusk, you get an attack of opportunity, Sir Davrik. I believe at advantage because he kind of trying to stumble out of this darkness too. And he comes, well, I'll wait till you hit him first. Then we'll go from there.
Okay, that's 11 plus 6, 17.
To hit? Yep.
7.
It'll hit him.
And the damage, just give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize.
My sheet needs to be in order. Okay, so that's going to be 1d8 plus 6 plus 6. 1d8 plus 12.
Yeah, don't forget to add your ability modifier too.
Right. So then that's. Do I get the +4 from the blessing as well?
No, that's just 2 attacks.
Just 2 attacks. Okay.
Yeah.
So
2
then,
hit.
so that would be 22 damage total.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Nice. All right. So what kind of a weapon are you using, Andre?
I'm using a longsword.
Okay. So you get the D8 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a D6 for your hex, right?
Yep.
And what ability? So you're using a longsword, so you use your strength. So what's your strength modifier?
Actually, I didn't even roll advantage on that, but my strength modifier, I don't use strength against my modifier for attacks because I'm a hexblade. I use charisma.
Ooh, nice.
That's +6. All right, +5.
Oh, okay, so you got a 20 in that.
I have a 20 in that because I increased it by 1 from what it started at first.
So you said that was 22? So it's a pretty good hit on him.
Okay.
All right. And he curses as he staggers out. Where do you hit him? Where are you aiming for?
I'm aiming for his thighs to have him fall prone.
Right, perfect. Yeah, so he staggers out of the darkness. The rest of you would see him come off to the left of it. And you see that he has a pretty grievous cut in his leg. And he kind of has this slight limp. So he would see the rest of you. And
I guess, can I use an improvisation point? And I'll just say, I'll yell as loud as I can so everyone can hear it. I'll say, the time for you to glorify yourself is coming to an end.
Yes. Awesome. Cool. So he has probably about 20 feet of movement, and he uses that movement to close closer to you, Bernhard, but he can't quite get there. So he's going to dash so that he is closed with you, and he's got these 2 short swords up, and he's ready to fight. You're up, Davrik.
I attack. As he's approaching Gerhard, right? So
yeah. Bernhardt, yes.
Oh, Bernhardt, sorry. I'm going to approach him and attack him from the rear. I mean, I'm just gonna. He's limping, approaching one of my men. I am not going to let that happen, and I'm just going to attack him.
Perfect.
Okay, so here we go. It's going to be another. I'm going to reset my roller. Roll a 14 plus 6. That's a 20.
Yep, it hits.
And I will do the 1d6 on damage, and plus the 8 plus my bonus, which is 5. So that's all right. So that's 5 and 6. It's 11 plus the d8. And I roll damage, and I hit him for 19 points.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he looks bloodied as you hit him for that 19.
I would narrate the sword going inside of him, and I would look at everyone else, and as I just plummet the sword, piercing him, and saying, "Do you see he who comes against this duchy?" And I just like pull the sword out, and I look at my compatriots, and I say, "Fell this one."
Awesome. Carl, you're up. That was groovy.
Right. Well, he's going to start sullenly going back towards the fray, having just had his prey taken away from him. Using his short bow. He's going to aim it. There was 2 fighting. Is it Sir? Can't begin with the H. I had it.
Sir Haldane.
Haldane, that's one. Had it gone from my chat. So, and I'd like to help him out by firing an arrow into one of the 2.
Yep, go for it.
And they're in combat with him, right?
They are, yeah.
So I should be able to apply my sneak attack damage if I hit.
You can.
Oh, natural 20.
Yeah, just tell me how you kill them, because these guys don't have a lot of hit points. Just describe it to us.
So I imagine he's in a sort of brutal melee with Sir Haldane, even though Sir Haldane's sort of injured, being sort of fought back. And as he stumbles back, the arrow, and his head sort of lifts up, the arrow goes straight underneath the chin there, firing straight into up through his head and into his brain, killing him instantly.
Awesome. And you still have a movement, Carl, if you would like to use it.
Yeah, just heading back into the melee.
Perfect. As you're running back into the melee, you see other men of these men in the chain shirts moving in from the sides. It doesn't seem like Sir Haldane or Bernhard or Davrik have noticed it. Cornelius, you notice it as well. You see 4 more men, 2 from each side, moving in to try to close in this trap. And
I'd just like to shout out more coming.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. And Bernhard, it's your turn. You hear the warning. You see your knight land a rather grievous wound to Rusk, 2 blades, and it is your turn.
Sure. I would imagine, though, that I would have seen this man stagger out of this magical darkness first and foremost. So he is going to be, because he is standing right next to where Rusk charged into more or less my location as well, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah, so he would have been the first point of attention for me. And just out the corner of my eye, seeing that movement as he stepped out, my sword would not have stopped its momentum as it sliced the first man. And it would come up in an arc, probably here, spilling some of the first fallen's blood through the air. He's going to obviously put his hunter's mark on this guy, which doesn't look like anything happens, but having the whole world kind of blurs apart from this target, it just shines that bit brighter. And that is going to be a 18 to hit him.
Yep. Now you notice that he's just wearing like this studded armor.
Not for much longer, he won't be.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I just got math today. 18 points of damage.
What's that look like as you cleave into him for that? He's not quite dead, but he's pretty bloody.
The sword has come from a kind of under chest position, swung it up into the air, and it's just cleaved him into the neck, straight through the collarbone, before this man's even had a chance to react.
He kind of just like grunts, and there's a look on his face that the both of you see like, this can't be happening. This can't happen to me. I'm Rusk Two Blades. I'm untouchable. I kill men. I'm not killed by men. That's the look that just flashes over his face. And you see probably the first time ever in your lives, you see panic on this man, this grizzled veteran. Awesome. And Cornelius, you see this archer step out from behind a tree. You attempt to react, but it's a moment too late as you see an arrow fly. You feel it strike your stomach. You look down, you see the fletching. Well, I should probably see how much damage first. Oh, yeah. 9 points of piercing damage as this arrow strikes your abdomen. It feels like you've just been punched. And you see him quickly whip out another arrow, take aim, and fire at you again. And his shot is true again for another 7 piercing. And you see him step back behind the tree, but you can still see his shoulder kind of sticking out a little bit. And you see him, getting ready to draw another arrow. He's probably about 45 feet from you, off to your left, like straight out to the left.
All right.
It's not your turn, though, however. I just wanted to describe the action to you.
Thank you, sir.
And so the warriors are poking at... so as you kill the one that was attacking Sir Haldane, he uses that to his advantage, and he strikes down the other one. So as these other 4 rush in towards your group, one splits off to go after you, Carl, and the other 2, the other 3 try to close in on you, Davik and Bernhard, seeing that their leader is in dire straits. So they're going to use their movement, and they're going to dash to get in and to toe-to-toe with you guys. So they are done. And now, Cornelius, it is your turn.
All right. I'm going to rotate around the tree, interposing the tree between myself and this new threat. Where are the 4 additional reinforcements coming from? Are they attacking the head of the group or one of the flanks?
Perfect. Yeah. So Sir Haldane has no one near him now. He strikes down the one that was there. Carl has one that has closed with him, and the other 3 have closed in on the group that is fighting Rusk. So it would be Davrik and Bernhard. So that's the big cluster of the fighting. And of course, there's that one archer off to the left of you. Okay.
We're going to see if we can deal with that archer. The pain in his abdomen lends focus to his attention. We're going to try for -5 again. See if we can get some sharpshooter action and roll. That's going to be a miss. It'll be 6 and numbers. He's going to go ahead and use his bonus action for the War Cleric and try again. That might actually get him somewhere. Let's see, that'll be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 to hit.
Yeah, no, it slams into the tree. You both are suffering from the same thing, is that you both have almost full cover. So it increases. So you actually have +5 to your armor class right now.
Okay, I did want to mention, as a part of the sharpshooter feat, I ignore 1/2 and 3/4 cover.
Oh, okay. So what was it?
13.
Oh, yeah. So you just miss. It strikes really close to where his shoulder is, but he pulls it back just in time. That was really close.
All right, good deal.
Something tells
Yeah,
me you would have one-shot him too if you would have. I love that feat, by the way. As you gotta say, are you doing anything else? I mean, obviously you're taking cover again, right?
Yes,
Okay,
he's
cool.
now. Yeah, he would be on the right side of the tree if the archer's on the left side of the road, and then the battle is ahead. So
Yeah.
that's where he would be.
Cool. So you actually effectively have an armor class of 20 right now. Perfect. And let me see. It is Captain Rusk's turn. Rusk Two Blades. He says, "Oh, all right. I yield. I will give to you guys. Do not kill me. It's not worth it." And he flips his swords towards you, Davrik, and handles out to you. "I'll not die this day. Men, stop your fighting. It's not worth it." And it's up to you to decide what you want to do right now. He's basic, and it's your turn, Davrik. So you tell me what you want to do. You're muted.
All right. So Davrik would look at the men and see how they react.
Very. Don't listen to the man behind the curtain, Davrik.
Yeah, no. I'm going to, but no. Just how are the men reacting? Have they yielded?
Yeah, they kind of stop up short. They're I mean, they still have their spears ready, but they're not like looking like they're going to try to drive them into you. They've kind of take a step back. They're wary, but they're not looking like they're going to attack.
I look at them all and I say, "The duchy will forgive your insolence, and I will slay this man, and we will go forward and fell the beast that has taken. Do you understand me?"
They nod their heads. Russ goes, "You dirty dogs!" And he tries to flip his short swords back around so that he can drive them into you.
As he does that, I just point a finger at his belt buckle, and all the darkness consumes him.
Nice.
And I walk out of the darkness and I look at the men one more time and I say, "Do you understand what I am saying to you? I am forgiving your insolence that I may fell Rusk. Is that acceptable?"
Right. So you're gonna use the same darkness around him.
Yeah, he's consumed.
All right. So all the men would be consumed, even you.
Yeah, I would be saying this in the darkness, and I would just say, "Do you accept?" I'd just be waiting for vocal acknowledgement.
Oh yeah, you hear you. Well, you would see as well. The others would just hear them say, "Whatever you say, my lord. Whatever. We don't want to die.
All right,
Rusk is a fool."
All right. So within the darkness, I will grab the hand of Bernhardt, and I'll say, "You may have the kill, my honorable one." And I will I'll place Bernhardt's sword on the neck of Rusk, and I'll let him have the kill.
Cool. So you actually give him the aid action, so that you would actually be able to make a normal attack as he guides your sword towards Rusk.
Oh shit!
Right.
No pressure.
So,
all right.
And
So
he
we're not
would have
going
advantage, by the way.
to resolve that right now because I want to give Carl his turn and allow him to do what he's going to do, if anything, and then you can definitely do it because you're up after him.
He just uses opportunity to get out his short sword and dagger and ready to pounce at a moment's notice, but
perfect.
He seemed to have yielded, but so he won't do anything for now.
All right, so do your worst, Bernhard. Sorry.
You know, there are some of those moments that you hope for. The actual fucking 20.
Yes. So describe what Bernhard does, but he does not see, but Davrik sees it all.
I was going to have this. I had it already planned out in my mind, so I'm just going to burn it anyway because I was going to define smite on any damage that got done.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what I do. And with every single burst of blood that comes as his sword gets rammed into his jugular. It's almost like a strobe light within this magical darkness. So even though it's outside it, can just see flashes of Rusk and his final breath.
DM, just one thing. Because I'm assisting him, I get to suck the soul of Rusk into the heart of Arthea.
Oh, of course you do. So you guys, the rest of you would see this globe of darkness, and you would see these bright flashes of divine light just lance out of the darkness, and then they kind of sort of subside. And Davrik, you alone would see the essence pulled from Rusk into your gem, and you feel the power pulse through you as a result of that. And we are out of initiative. I imagine you drop your globe of darkness. So the men are just really they're like, he made us do it, Lord. We were forced. You know how Russ could be.
I have no judgment. Before he even responds to it, he takes a fist and he bangs it on the chest of Bernhardt, and he goes, "Good." And he turns around and he looks at all the men and he says, "I have no judgment for why you choose to betray or what foundation by which you choose to make such fair decisions. But I assure you this, from this day forward, you will be loyal to this duchy. Because if not, I will fell you in the same way I have this one." And he looks at Bernhardt and he goes, "Or he will." Do we understand each other?
Just to emphasize that point, I will flick my sword towards him with the blood of Rusk.
Yes, that is awesome. Give me an intimidation, you two.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh man, I got that.
With advantage.
Bad boy.
With advantage.
I'm proficient in that. Intimidation is +7 for me. Let's see.
23 for myself.
9 plus. I actually rolled a 9, so I got a 17.
With advantage?
With advantage. Sorry.
You get advantage. Oh hell yeah! After what just happened, you definitely get advantage on your.
So I rolled a 20, so I got a 27.
Yeah, you're not certain. They definitely immediately nod their heads in affirmation, and you're not certain, but you're pretty sure that at least one of them might have pissed himself.
But I would say this. I would look immediate. I mean, do I see Harry's character in suffrage, like in really bad pain? Like, because he has like a bunch of arrows. Who was the one that was stuck by all the arrows?
No, that was Cornelius out behind you.
That was Cornelius? Do I see Cornelius? Like, do I see the doctor almost like dead?
Oh, I don't know if he's almost dead, but I'll leave it up to him to describe as he rides up or whatnot.
Cornelius comes tramping out of the woods. He's there's some blood about, but he's cleaned himself up. Out of character, he's about a third health. Guy thought he could pin me a few times. We're good. He'll live to regret it.
All right, so I would look at Cornelius and I would beckon him to send me a signal that he was okay, kind of nodding down, making sure he was okay. And how would he respond?
He dusts himself off, gives you a little salute, shaking the dust from his clothes. He's good.
You'd see me with a wry smile, expecting nothing less. And then I would look over at Harry's character. I don't have everybody's character written down. What's your character?
Carl.
Carl, that's right, Carl. So I look over at Carl and note. I would kind of do the same thing. I would kind of nod at him and request some response as to if he was stable or not.
He's just bleeding lightly from his shoulder, having sort of ripped out the arrow in the sort of downtime of this end of the battle. I've only lost like 8 hit points. So I'm pretty good. Nod back.
If you guys would like, you could take a short rest, but you would lose an hour if you were to do so. But you could use hit die to regain any hit points. But that is the choice that you, as a group, have to make.
Before we even think about that, the one that potentially pissed himself, He'd be the one. I'm going to drag him forward. Kind of force him onto his knees in front of me with my sword, just kind of resting on his neck.
I told the Sir Daverick that I was being loyal to the house.
Your word means nothing to me, boy. Well, one
Sir
for now
Daverick.
is information.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Where is your camp? Where are you going? Your camp somewhere.
We ain't got no camp. We're following the beast. It's got what we want. That's what we're doing. That's all. We're just following it.
What is the beast?
I don't know. It's just really big and it's scary. But Rusk said he'd kill any one of us if we ran. Said that we could take it.
And in your estimation, could a large force, the force that you have, take the beast?
Truth be told, I don't think so, sir. No, sir. I think we're all gonna die. The thing is, I've never seen anything so monstrous. I saw it rip a horse almost in two. Never seen anything like that. But it's got the treasure though, and that's what we wanted.
Fuck your treasure. Does it travel north, west, east, south? Which way does it travel?
I don't fucking know. Roscoe's the one tracking it, not us. We just following him. But leaves a pretty clear trail though. And he kind of points off in the direction where the trail kind of does press through these trees.
Yeah, well, at this point, Bernard will look towards Davrick as if to say, Why?
The beast does make a wide trail, and we can track it for some time. Let us rest, regain our composure, talk to these men, find what we can, and proceed forward after the rest.
Yeah, so you could take it's early afternoon. So if you take a short rest, that would put you. It's probably like 3-ish now in the afternoon. So the sun will set probably around 6. So you have about 3 hours after you take a short rest. If you continue to question these men, they're pretty much going to tell you anything that they know, especially where you, Daverick and Bernhard, have pretty much put the fear of their mortality into them. What they tell you is Rusk convinced them to turn on the other men, with the hopes, because he had heard that there's a large cache of money was being transported south, and so he had it in the idea that they would steal it and they would be set for life. But what he also found out in the course of the journey is that the Duke's youngest daughter was traveling too, so he had thought that they would ransom her as well. What they did not plan for was this large beast to come upon them and totally throw their plan to shit. And but Rusk was not one. Well, you would know Rusk is not a man. Once he sets his mind to something, he's not going to stop. So he kind of coerced these men to follow this beast into the woods.
I guess
The Duchess's daughter, the Duke's and Duchess's daughter, is still alive, at least according to him. She looked alive, but he carried her off into the woods. This beast.
I would ask I guess the most obvious question would be, what does the beast look like? What is its skin? What is its bones? What does its face look like?
He says, it's like nothing I've ever seen. It was large. It must have been, 16 or 18 hands high. Its flesh, it seemed to be a mixture of fused with bark of a tree, but also living flesh itself. It had great claws and teeth. As we struck it with our spears, it seemed as though it healed faster than we could kill it.
I whispered to all three of my companions. Also, I try and make it so that only they hear, and I say, we need fire. And I let him continue on, and I look for a response from any of the party once I say that.
Cornelius would pull a tinderbox from among his gear.
Excellent. Do any of you have oil?
I have a torch, but no oil.
All right, I will look through my pack. Just give me 1 second. I think I have some.
I have oil. I'm just looking through my pack. I have 2 flasks of oil from a burglar's pack.
If we are to encounter the beast, we will ensure that Carl covers it with the oil. And we should carry torches. If it is a flame while we attack it, it will take enough damage where we can kill it. If it does seem to have some form of way to regenerate, we may have to think further on this, but we cannot delay any further. We must go forth.
Perfect. So anyone that would like to can expend hit die to regain any health they have lost. You finish your short rest. You probably have a quick little meal and just to restore some energy because you know that there's probably a fight. You face a fight ahead, and you set back out again. Give me 2 survival rolls. You are on advantage on both of these, Cornelius. The first one is to follow the trail, and the second one is to see if you can gain on this creature. Now remember, this thing does not seem to be leaving with any sort of speed or alacrity at all.
All right. I apologize. I had some lag there for a moment. Should I roll for tracking?
No. Yeah, just roll. 2 survival checks. Yeah, and right after these checks, we'll take another quick little break, and then we'll finish up the last leg of this little one shot.
That's a 20 and a 9.
Oh, with advantage, you get a 9?
I may use an inspiration on that.
Yeah,
He's motivated on this.
Oh, can I just do something real quick? Sorry.
Certainly.
Davrick and Bernhard, both of you guys take inspiration for your fight there. That last bit of the fight, that was inspiring. 16 with inspiration, perfect. Yeah, you make really good time. And so as the afternoon starts to urgency kind of creeps on to all of you, the darkness is slowly starting to envelope the forest. The horses start to nicker and pull back their horses, their nostrils flaring. And you find it harder to keep them under control.
I would say extremely loud to the entire party or even all the men that are around us. I would say, light your torches now.
Perfect. And we will take a break with that as you guys are lighting your torches. Awesome.
Sweet.
I'm having a blast, guys. Thanks for playing, really. This is awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a chance to play with you before.
No, not at all.
Nice to meet you.
I never see you roll a 20 either.
Oh, okay, smart enough.
It's great. Maybe it's a sign of change.
No, I have little spells where I roll well, and then it's 4 weeks of misery.
Mm. It seemed to work off you. You shit talk Lionel though, so keep on doing that.
I'll bear that in mind. I hope he watches this again, sees you see that.
So Harry, we gonna shoot a video tomorrow?
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely. I have
Let's
a
not
game.
talk about it on the game, but I just
I have a
wanted-
game at 8. I think I'm going to. So as long as we're done by then, which I'm sure we will be.
Yeah, I have to work tomorrow, so yeah.
Sure. What? Oh, I don't know what the time zones are. To be honest, what time is it there right now?
1:40.
1:40. Okay, it's 6. Okay. Back to 5 hours, I think now.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than the awkward 4. Not that it mattered too much.
What I want to know is which one of you 4 is in that picture right there. That's on my screen share.
Oh.
That's gotta be Bernhardt, bro.
Yeah.
Bernhardt's like, I don't care. I'm gonna stand right in front of your face.
Yeah. As his great sword has been snapped. Has
Come on,
been,
eat me.
sundered.
I'll give you the worst indigestion you've ever had.
Right. I want to know who's really playing checks right now. Because the checks I know does not roll like that.
I've been rolling shit all game. I've had like, what, 2 or 3 decent rolls out of 7 or 8.
You guys destroyed Rusk. I built him. I'm like, this guy's going to kick some ass.
Oh.
He did. I don't think he hit any of you. I don't think he attacked.
You have to
He
remember,
basically-
I have the shittiest rolls at like, a lot of the times, but there is always that moment where I narrate something and then it hits well.
Yeah.
Remember in the... Oh shit, I don't even think you were there for that. Fuck. No, you weren't. Oh well.
See, video footage or it didn't happen, checks. That's all I'm saying.
There are 9 other players that saw it.
Sure they did. Did you pay them all off? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, was it Nick's game?
Yeah.
Yeah. That Viking one where we fought the twins.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought you were in it.
Yeah. No, I missed one session that whole campaign, and I think that was probably where you guys came together for the first time.
Yeah, you were on the other side, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's why I wish he recorded his games.
Mhm.
But anyways, I think we're all back, right? Cool. So light torches. And so just from a mechanical point of view, so anyone who does not have dark vision, you have devil's sight, so you can see just fine. Everyone else, if you don't have a torch and you try to move, anything beyond your torch light is considered dim light, so it's disadvantaged for any kind of perception beyond your torch range. It's like dusk now. It's like a movie. You know how in a movie, the characters are doing something and there's light out, and all of a sudden it goes to the next scene, and all of a sudden it's pitch dark. You're like, what the heck just happened? It's been like 5 minutes. So no, but it's dark, and I think it's part of the tree canopy. It really makes it look a little bit darker.
Quick question, we still have a red shirt left? Albert is still alive?
Yep.
So he's the designated torchbearer.
Cool. Yeah, and you have four of these spearmen, and 1 archer that were also joined you. So you have a bunch of red shirts now. So they could all of them could be torch bearers if you wanted. So you guys quickly just decide what your strategy is, because you know this creature is clear just because of the way the horses are reacting. Cornelius would know that, having spent time hunting and whatnot. They definitely can smell this beast. And it's probably wise.
I take the rotting body of Rusk and throw it in the center of everybody and just wave it around and go, come get me. And I'm just like taking his freaking corpse, and blood is splatting all over the place, trying to woo this creature to the center so that Carl can have his way with him.
Oh, cool. What is everybody else doing while Davik is doing that? Sir Haldane is like, Sir Davrik, I'm surprised by your behavior. It is very uncommon to you.
Fuck off.
I love it. He says nothing to that. I mean, that is no response to that. That's awesome. What is everybody doing? The other three doing?
I think I'd use my divine sense. I mean, I don't think metagame wise it would do anything, but I think in character, he'd certainly be reaching out with that. So he'd be peering into the darkness.
You just sense an evil, but a natural evil, not an evil that is malicious in the sense that it's calculative. It's just more feral.
But yeah, I mean, I think that would be his go-to in that kind of situation.
Yeah, just for the record, with paladins, I think one of the things that I really hate that they made it so they could only sense certain things. I really liked it that they could kind of sense an evil. So yeah, you sense like this evil, and it's emanating from the forest ahead of you.
I think they put it into a spell more than the sense, but consecrated ground is still a thing, so it works out.
Yeah. So as you guys are preparing, you're lighting torches. It's very. You hear this.
Okay, so I would see it. I could see 160 feet in any direction with Devil's Sight. Where is it at?
You don't see it. You just hear it.
All
and
right,
then you hear, but you do hear, it's very quiet in the forest. It's, how in the woods, just before the sun sets or just before the sun's rise, it's like everything is just kind of quiet. The day things are starting to bed down, and the night things are just starting to rouse. So it's just that deadly quiet. There's no rain. There's occasionally some drips of water falling from trees to the ground, and you hear that snorting, and then you hear this very faint, "Help me. Help me. Please, God, help me."
Involuntarily, Cornelius takes 2 steps forward before his better judgment pulls him up short.
Yeah, so everyone give me a perception check real quick as you hear those sounds. Perfect. You notice the sounds are coming from 2 different areas. The snorting sound is kind of coming from ahead of you, kind of where you sense that evil presence, Bernhard. The weak cries for help are actually coming off maybe 100 or so feet to the right. Still ahead of you, but off to the right. Any one of you that has spent time hunting or tracking would know that oftentimes beasts will do that. They'll draw you out and circle around. Actually, several of you have actually tried to do it yourselves as you track this beast. So that's what you guys all think as you hear that. Those sounds, the cries, and you still hear those pleas for help.
Sure. So I think wherever Bernhard hears this or senses this, there's a nudge to the nearest person, and that kind of military signal. They tap the side of the head and pointing in the direction, which is probably clearly visible to everybody.
So he's nudging, saying concentrate on the snort, right?
That would be the direction that he thinks the beast is circling in, I believe.
Copy.
Yeah, you can easily pretty pinpoint it. It doesn't seem like it's being too secretive in how it's kind of just trying to get your scent.
I mean, I'd imagine at that point the hand motion would also go out for the kind of the red shirts to formation up, because they've all got spears.
Yep. Yeah, so they could hold a torch with one hand and the spear with the other. So the 4 red shirts, they don't look, they kind of look at you like, all right, well, they'll probably kill us if we say we're not going to do this, and we're probably going to die. It's just a matter of time. And so they kind of do that. The archer kind of gets an arrow ready on his longbow. So what are you guys going to do? So you're kind of standing. It's not really a clearing, but it's sort of a clearing. The horses are very now hearing the snorting, probably catching a scent themselves. They're really starting to pull and paw at the ground. You get a sense that they might bolt if something is not done to calm them.
I'm going to lean into the man that pissed himself and whisper in his ear, "You only piss yourself once, boy. That's better than most men do when they're at the end of my blade." I'll tap him on the back like a more kind of reassuring way, just to kind of bolster his spirits a bit.
He wants to believe you as he nods to you and smiles weakly. Now, who all else is carrying torches? So we got I imagine the 4 spearmen. Is anybody else carrying torches? I just want to mark it. That's all. Okay, so you are not. Albert is okay. So five men with torches. And is there any sort of command that you give them?
Yeah, well, I just want to ask, I want to make sure we are in a circular clearing in the forest right now.
It's not really a clearing. It's more or less, the trees aren't quite as dense here. So you guys are able to kind of congregate in a way that so you guys can kind of converse and make your plan. So you guys are in like this loose kind of, I guess I'm thinking kind of a circle as you guys are kind of figuring out this plan. You got your guys with your torches standing there with their spears. Everyone's kind of looking a little uneasy.
Are the trees dry or moist?
Moist.
Okay. I'll surrender narrative and action to everyone else. I'm not going to give commands. It looks like Bernhardt has command of the force, so I'm going to let him handle that. If anything happens, I'm going to have to circle around the back, so I'm going to just let everybody do what they got to do.
Perfect. Sir Haldane will draw his great sword, and you would see that black steel of his blade, black talon. And he would smile at you, Davrik, and say, "We will see blood this night." And
make sure it is not your own, and keep your loyalties where they should be. Now shut your mouth and listen for the beast.
Oh, love it. He cocks an eyebrow to that, but thinks better to respond. Now is not the time for this. So what are you guys going to do? You hear no more of the snorting. You can hear the whimpering still. It sounds weak. It sounds very, I don't know what the word is. Not depressed, but depressed, but not in the sense like a mental illness depressed, but just really
forlorn.
Like forlorn and forced, like very weak.
If we're waiting there for a few minutes and this beast does not appear like it's going to do anything, the body of Rusk is in this clearing as well.
Yeah, seems like that. He brought his trophy. Davrik brought his trophy.
Okay, so I will reach down to the body of Rusk and dig into some of those wounds, which I imagine still fresh smelling blood, and lift it up, and I'll actually smear a little just kind of across the chin, down my neck, keep it in my hand, and I'll stride maybe 30 foot, whatever I can, towards the tree line where I can hear this snorting. Yeah.
The minute you get to that point, 30 feet out, Bernhard, you hear that snort again. And you hear, and you see a movement off in the darkness of the woods, Davrik. Yeah, it's kind of like Predator. Yeah. And it's just enormous. It's much bigger than what you thought. And it just moves, and you hear this crashing of branches and the smashing of trees as this thing rushes forward. Everyone's going to roll some initiative. All right, so yeah, so for the three of you that rolled above 10 on your insight, something didn't sound right just before this thing came crashing through the woods towards you about the pleas for help. But you don't have much time to think about it as the thing charges forward. All right, let's get our initiatives here. You 7 for you, checks. All right.
Yeah, I'm back to rolling in my old ways.
That's okay. It seemed to work well for you in the last fight. A 5 for you, Davik. No. And is your 18 is that your initiative, Harry? No.
Yeah. Yeah,
18.
my insight was a 12.
Okay. All right. And you got an 8 as well. Okay. Let's roll up some initiative for this big bad guy. 14. So he's going to go after you. So Carl, you're the first to act as this big thing crashes through the woods. There's just dirt and stone and branches are just thrown up as it crashes into this small semi-clearing. Men scatter as this thing rushes in. So you guys are in this kind of tight little group. I'll let you guys decide like how spatially where you guys are in proportion to one another. But you're the first to act as this thing comes in, and you look at it and it's exactly as described, but it probably stands closer to 14 or 15 feet tall. It just stands up large, and you see these big claws, and it just bellows. Blah! And what are you gonna do, man?
So how close is it?
It's probably about 10, 15 feet away from you. It's still like kind of rushing in, but you're able to act first.
Well, I want to try and get off my horse because I just know that thing's going to bolt.
I guess I'm assuming all of you guys would have dismounted.
Yeah.
Especially with the horses kind of shying away like they were. So maybe you could have one of the red shirts holding the bridles to the.
I'm sure Albert's there holding a torch and holding all the horses.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
So yeah, he's gonna sort of dart out to the side and try and approach it from the sort of back side angle, getting out of its way, but still remaining close to his friends. And he's going to try and, I guess, just start swinging a bit madly, not as controlled as he normally is. He's, I guess, a bit terrified, but he knows there's some angry people with him that'll sure to back him up. And he's just going to try and attack this thing.
Perfect.
Right. And I think I get advantage because it hasn't acted yet. Is that right?
That is correct.
Right. So, short swords. Okay, that is a... with a +1, that's a 15 total.
Your sword just bounces off of its barked, encrusted hide.
Damn. Magic sword for nothing. And I'll just do a little bonus action with the dagger.
Okay, cool.
And that is a 16.
Yeah, same thing. You just kind of you drive it into this. It kind of runs barrels right past you, and you strike at it, and it just kind of just glances across its hide. It just ignores you.
Damn.
And it's his turn. So I will see who it's going to hit. Okay. So Cornelius, it comes crashing into your group. Everyone kind of scatters, and it takes 2 swats at you with its claws. Holy shit. I got a 17 and an 18 on the die. So it strikes you. Just 2 vicious blows, just swat. for 18 piercing damage, all up. And as it does, it just lunges down with this big toothy maw to try to bite your head off. And that's going to be a 19.
19 damage or 19 to hit?
19 to hit. Yeah, did you get the other damage from the strikes?
There was 18 damage, correct?
Yeah, 18, and it bites down at you to try to take your head off, and it bites you for 14 slashing damage on top of that. So it just brings this big, mouthy, toothy maw, and it bites down to try to bite your head off. I'm imagining that you're not dead, so you would dodge out of the way. So it just manages to kind of bite into your shoulder. You feel the blood start to run down your chest, and the others start beating at it, and it lets go, and it kind of just rears up. And it is now, Bernhard, your turn.
I am not dead, but he is definitely bleeding. He's very bloody.
Okay. Yeah, that was a vicious attack. Bernhard, you are up.
Yeah, well, as soon as this thing started to rush, Bernhardt is going to use his bonus action to cast Veil of Enmity on it.
To cast what?
Veil of Enmity.
Oh, yes.
One of my favourite paladin abilities. And as it kind of rushes by and slams into Cornelius, he is going to slash out at it.
Yep.
Come on, dice. Rolling with advantage here. Come on.
Yes, sir.
I just rolled 2 natural ones.
Oh, no. I thought you were going to say you rolled 2 natural 20s.
I have never rolled 2 natural ones, but yep.
I allow players to describe for me what happens as they roll this nat 1.
Okay. There's only one way I can think this happens. This is some big fuck off huge tree monster. My sword maybe bites into it, but only bites into it enough for purchase and not to inflict any wound.
Yeah.
I am dragged with it.
Yes. You just shear bits of this bark. You just see it fly off. But what happens is it also traps your sword in there. Yeah. But you're not willing to let go of it. So yeah, you get dragged along with it for a few feet. Cornelius, you are up. Oh, actually, no. Really quickly.
I'm happy to take damage for that, by the way.
No, you don't have to take any damage. Rare occasions should anyone ever take damage for rolling a nat 1. That's good enough. That's perfect. Cornelius, you are up. This thing is just like looming over you. You see this bloodthirsty look. It's this feral. This thing is not intelligent in the same sense that you all gauge intelligence. What do you want to do?
Let's see. Did you say it was my go?
It is your go, Cornelius. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. He is going to. Would I proc a opportunity attack if I went away without disengaging?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to disengage and hot foot it 30 feet away from that thing.
Yeah. As you do that, he seems to it gives you no attention anymore. There's plenty of other meat around him, so he doesn't even care that you've run off. Oh, actually, you know something? I'll give you this. I'll let you retcon that. If you're willing to play it by the die, I'll roll percentage, and you could say high or low, and he might totally ignore you as you move away. He's not going to take a reaction like others, attack of opportunities like others might.
Being a woodsman, having dealt with animals before, I think that this would be how, being a man of study, I think this is just how he would act anyway. He'd even if it's excessive, it fits his pre-established habits.
Perfect. Yeah. So you disengage and you withdraw 30 feet away. And Davrik, you're up.
As soon as Davik sees Cornelius pretty much almost ended, he runs in a full panic, and you hear him say, "Cornelius, no!" And he runs top speed, and he just tries to garnish the attention of the beast to come to attack him. And he takes second movement action and tries to keep the attention of the beast to come towards him and away from Cornelius.
Perfect. Yeah, you definitely have gotten his attention, but you still have actions too. That
All
doesn't.
right. Well, I will. Well, for my one action, as I do, so that's what I do with my movement action. I use my Eldritch Invocation to create Cursebringer, which is a flamed weapon that if I spend a spell slot, I can do an additional 2/8 damage. I'm completely proficient with it. I'm now two-handed with 2 long swords. One is a flame and one regular.
Awesome.
I will attack with the flame sword against the beast, but it depends on how I roll if I am going to spend the spell slot for the additional 2d8. So let me roll the attack. Excuse me. And sorry, I think I closed my window. Okay, so I have not cursed it yet, so I don't get the additional advantage on the roll from the curse. So I'm just going to get my roll plus my additional 5. So I roll a 13, so I get plus 5 to that. So I roll an 18.
Awesome.
With
Is that to hit?
What's his AC?
20. I mean, no, his AC is 18. Sorry.
Okay, so then I hit him with the flame sword. I will not spend an additional spell slot for the 2d8. I will just hit him with fire damage and slashing damage plus my 5. So I'm going to roll that now. So 1d8 plus 5. And I hit him for a total of 7. I was a 2 and a 5. Well, I rolled a 2 and I got the plus 5.
Yeah, you put a lot into this swing, Davrik, and you've killed men with blows like this, and you're disappointed with it. It shears into its hide, and you can see a black Icarish blood break out, and you can see flames start to lick up its skin hungrily. Because I was with the flame sword, yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so it seems like it ignores the blow, but it looks like it's going to kill you.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm good.
So at the same time, you see Sir Haldane comes in and brings his sword down, and he again, it glances off of this thing's hide, shears off some of the bark and wood, and then he has to kind of like steady himself. You see that he's not fully recovered from his injuries. The men with spears are stabbing at it, and you see arrows kind of hitting at this thing, and it is now your turn again, Carl. You're standing behind it now.
Okay, my character sheet just crashed, but
see, that's why you need the paper ones to back it up, my friend.
Exactly, but I had to make it in like 20 minutes, so and I can't seem to get it back. I know roughly what I had anyway. So I am going to try and bring out this this flask of oil, and running at this thing, I'm going to try and sort of just, I guess, lob it at this thing's back, hoping it will break and smash and spray everywhere.
Yeah, just make a ranged attack.
Yeah. I don't think I'll get my proficiency because it's an improvised weapon. I presume that, but
I would say that it would all balance out because this thing is large, is huge, so it's not really a hard. It's like trying to hit a barn. I mean, how proficient would you need to be to hit a barn with a bottle of oil?
Right. That is an 18.
Yeah, that's going to hit. So give me 2d6 fire damage.
The oil needs to be lit. Going off the rules in the
okay.
Right.
I thought you Molotov cocktailed it. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so you hit it. So the rest of you would see this oil smash against the back of this beast. Perfect. Are you going to do anything else?
And then with a bonus action, I'm going to try and just hit it with a dagger.
Perfect.
Which I think I had a plus 6 would make sense. Okay, that's definitely a miss. It's only a 14.
Cool. So one of the red shirts, the unnameless one, we'll say it's the one that you gave this rousing speech to, Bernhard, rushes forward, drives his spear, and with his other hand, Rudy, and he goes to light the oil. And as he does so, the thing just backhands him and just rips him like open with its claw. He just hits the ground. It's like with a sickening wet thud, and you see his leg just twitching a bit. His dead eyes kind of staring up at you, Bernhard. So with its other attack, it strikes down at you, Bavrik, and you block it with your swords and sidestep, and then it tries to bite you. And
Remember,
again,
my AC is 19 now, by the way.
20.
20.
I thought it was 20.
No, it's actually 20. Sorry, because of the hearth.
Yeah. So it tries to bite you, and you kind of like duck and roll out of the way and come up with your swords ready. Bernhard, you're up.
So I guess my question would be is, am I still hanging on to the sword, or did I drop to the ground?
Nope. So this creature stops now. I guess when it gets up to where Darvik is, and it's kind of like now it's centered around all of you guys as you're kind of stabbing and shooting at it and whatnot. So it would stop, so you'd be able to get to your feet.
Could I? And this is a purely flavorful thing I would really want to do right now. Clambering on. Imagine the sword is still stuck into the beast. I climb up towards the wound that Davik put into it, thrust my hand inside it as a kind of improvised attack, and cast Divine Smite.
Yes. Cool always wins over rules, man. Yes, do it. Advantage on the attack.
Cool. Come on, dice. No double ones this time. That's a lot better. That's an 18.
Yeah, you don't even need that because you're reaching in past its armor. So yeah, give the damage.
Do I have all the d8s with me? I do not. Ill prepared I am. Oh, there we go. Damage is gonna be. It's only 9, but some of that is really
only 9. Hey, let me just say this: every little bit counts, man.
It's true.
Every little bit counts.
I hope to do a little bit better than a 3 and a 2 or an 8.
Nah. So it bellows in pain. Are you doing anything else, Bernhard?
I guess no.
Okay, cool.
Can't.
Okay, so it bellows in pain. I need everybody around this beast to give me a DC 13 strength check. And just put your result in the chat. Yeah. So Carl and Bernhard, you're able to kind of fall back as roots and branches from the trees and ground just explode out around this thing and just start entwining around you. Anyone that did not make their saving throw, you are now grappled and held in your position that you're at as these branches wrapping around your legs and pull at you. So the 3 red shirts remaining, 2 of them get bound in similar fashion. The other one's able to scramble out of the way. So these things are kind of just wreathing around this the beast as he bellows. And now it is your turn, Cornelius.
All right. Cornelius, seeing.
Oh, you fell back, didn't you, Cornelius? You didn't have to make a save.
Oh,
yeah. It was only the people in the near vicinity, within 10 feet of the beast. You're outside of it. range. So is Alfred or Albert.
He's going to fall back and now. All right, seeing Sir Davik up in this thing's face and taking some hits that nearly failed him. Pull together what focus he can from his bleeding body and cast Shield of Faith on Davik for +2 AC. That should put you at what, 20?
22
or more? 22.
22. Yeah.
And then he's going to lean heavily against a tree and just try to recover some composure after that devastating hit.
Perfect. And Davik, it's your turn. So you're kind of just rooted in this spot by these roots and whatnot that come up out of the ground as this thing bellows. And they're kind of wreathing around as this thing's kind of bellowing.
You would see Davik smirk, and I guess everyone who is paying attention to Davik would see this wry smile come as the branches and the roots come upon him. And he goes, he gently whispers to the beast, he says, "You have not got my hands." And he casts Witch Bolt right at its face.
Yes.
And that would be at second level, so that's 2d12 worth of damage. I have to actually roll for that?
Does it say a ranged spell attack?
No, I don't believe it is. Actually, let me make sure.
It's probably just a saving throw. So what's my save?
Let me see. It is one action, 30 feet worth of concentration up to 1 minute. It doesn't say if there's a save on it, though. Like, it just says it happens. It says the beam of crackling blue energy.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't have a save.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you make a ranged attack against a creature.
Okay, so make a ranged attack. There is no save.
Okay, so that's going to be dexterity roll?
No, it's with your, I believe it's your charisma.
Yeah. Excellent. So then I will use my +5 versus my roll, and I'll reset that.
Right.
And I roll a 16.
Right, so you hit. So give me the damage.
All right, so now I got to roll 2 12s. Yeah. And that's going to be 2 12s. And then I roll, and I hit him for 18 damage.
Perfect. And you can sustain that every round if you want to use your action.
Right, so as long as he keeps me in those roots, I'm keeping that lightning on him.
Nice. Well, the minute you hit him with that, the roots would start settling down, but it won't actually take effect until the start of the next turn.
All right, that's my. Right. I won't take any movement actions. I will say to everyone at the top of my voice, "Throw your goddamn torches at its back."
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So that's what happens. I'm gonna make 3 attacks with the guys. They're gonna throw their torches, the red shirts. Boom, boom, 2 hits, 3 hits. See, fear is a motivator. So the back of this thing ignites. Which one of you wants to roll the damage?
Not that.
Let's have Harry do it because he's the one that threw the oil on it.
Right. Yes. That makes the best sense.
What am I rolling?
2d6.
2d6. All right. We'll use a red one, of course. Right. Here we go. 3 damage. Rolled a 1 and a 2. Oh, fantastic.
That's okay. Remember on your turn, which is right now, you're going to roll another d6 because it's going to take another d6 damage.
Okay.
But it is your turn.
And DM, that damage is sustained every round, right? Until the flame is put out?
Yes. Or until it burns out.
Okay. And it's made of wood?
It's not made of wood, but what you've seen is it looks like it's fused bits of tree and bark into its flesh.
Okay, great.
Right. So, searching areas of his body that isn't on fire, searching for patches of flesh, and aiming his strikes for those patches, knowing that his blade won't do anything against the wood. He is going to roll an attack with his short sword. And gets a 19 plus, I think I have 7 with my short sword, at 26.
Mm-hmm. That'll definitely hit.
Okay, and I've got people in combat with it, so I should get sneak attack. So for a total of 18 damage.
Nice. I love thieves.
And then, knowing that he's found a weak spot, he's going to jab in his dagger if he can for a bonus action.
Yep.
No, that's a miss. Roll a 4.
Okay. Yeah. So you strike, but it's not enough. You can't get a fleshy spot. So you hit it, and you can see that it's hurting under your attack, and it bellows. I want everybody to give me a DC 13 Wisdom save. And again, this is just everybody around. So Cornelius, the archer, and what was his name? Albert do not have to make the save. So so everyone but Davrik, well, actually, Davrik, you feel this too. You feel this eldritch, ancient fey magic worming its way into your mind, as the rest of you do, but you're able to shake it off. You keep this concentration. You want to burn this thing with your magic. The rest of you, though, however, are very confused all of a sudden. At the start of each of your turns, I need you to roll a d10 to find out what you do. And with that, it takes its action. So if you want to look in the player's handbook, you guys are all under the influence of the confusion spell. The ones that failed.
I can't believe I passed with a 13.
Yeah, it's a really low. That's just what you needed.
Should I roll the fire damage, by the way?
Yes, please roll the fire damage.
Hey, a 5.
There you go. So you do see, unlike what the warrior has said, none of these injuries seem to be the ones that are touched by flame don't seem to be healing themselves. And if they are, they're not healing themselves as quickly. And so it takes its action. It's going to make 2 attacks at the guy that's lancing him with lightning. And one is going to be a miss with a 16, and the other is going to be a hit with a 24. So you're going to take...
I have an immediate cantrip, which provides me with +5 AC upon a hit.
Oh, okay. So it misses then.
Yeah, it's
right.
called. It's a reaction. It's called shield.
Yep. That's a spell.
No, is it a spell? Oh no,
Yeah,
it is a spell.
First level spell.
So then I won't get it because I don't have any more spell slots left. I'll take the hit.
Okay. All right. 10 points of slashing or piercing damage as a claw, and then it comes down to bite your head off. Oh shit. Oh shit. With a nat 20. Oh, so you're going to take 4d6 plus 10. 11. Well, I didn't roll that great. 11, 17, 22 points of piercing damage as it bites down on you.
Down to 0.
You are? Okay, so the eldritch magic fades away. And it just, you guys see him rip Davrik up from the roots that were holding him, shakes his head side to side, and just kind of tosses him off. You're not dead. You're just you're just unconscious. You're bleeding out. So you're just going to make death saves on your turn. So you see him tossed aside. Sir Healfdane screams, "No!" and strikes with Blackthorn and cuts deep into the thing's woody hide. You see blood and bone and flesh and wood fly off as he tries to fight the beast. And it is now Bernhard's turn.
Okay, so I'm under the influence of this confusion spell.
So give me a D10 roll.
Yeah, I pre-rolled it. I got 7, which
The creature uses its action to make the melee attack against a randomly determined creature within its reach. All right, odd or even?
well, I'm going to go odd.
Odd. Even. Roll your damage against a red shirt as you see him, and it looks like an enemy to you. It looks like this grotesque creature trying to kill you and yours.
Damage is going to be a 12.
Yeah. You just strike him. You just kill him outright. There's this confused look on his face as he's like, Bernhard, no! And you just cut right through his upheld arm and kill him. He falls to the ground dead.
Shit. Here's a question: I am in possession of my sword?
Yes.
Because I crawled away from it.
Oh. You do not have your sword, so you would just pummel. You would just pummel this guy then.
So unarmed damage would just
be 1 plus your strength.
1 plus strength, so 6 damage.
Okay, so you pummel him pretty readily. He puts his arms up to defend himself. He's like, "What are you doing?" And do you get a save? Yeah, you get to make another save.
Is it a save of a confusion spell? I thought it was the roll of 9 or 10.
No, an affected target can make a wisdom saving throw at the end of his turn.
Okay. Nope. It's a 7.
Oh, shit. Checks, man. You got to make your save. All right, so you're still confused. You still see this guy as an enemy, at least for now. Cornelius, you see Davrik just get savaged by this creature and tossed to the side. He flies 20 feet. He gets tossed 20 feet off into the woods. You hear him crash.
Is he within 30 feet of my current position?
Sure. I'll say it's close enough.
Cornelius, seeing a scene that is rapidly turning from battle to nightmare, would, clutching a wound with his left hand, stumble his way towards the downed Davik and dropping to both knees, places his palm upon his chest and says, "Nah, you big lug. There's more fighting you today." Presses down. His hand flashes with light, and 10 hit points and consciousness are restored.
Awesome. Inspiration, dude. That was perfect. Nice. Get this guy back into the fight. It's not enough, though. You see the archer run off into the woods, fleeing in terror at the sight of the mighty warrior Davrik being downed by this thing. And Davrik, you are up. It is your turn. You return to consciousness.
Okay, so I would basically I need to stand up first off, so that's half an action, and then I don't have any spells left, and I am really hurt, so I'm going to give me 2 seconds to review my sheet.
Do you have Eldritch Blast as a cantrip?
Yes, I do. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on, you're a warlock. Warlock's got to have that.
Yeah, I have Eldritch Blast. I'll use Eldritch Blast. That's a range attack? Or is that?
Yeah, ranged attack. Ranged spell attack. So you get to add your charisma for your attack.
I didn't have it. Actually, I built this guy without it before, so I'm not familiar with Eldritch Blast. But okay, I'll use it now. And here's my range attack. And I'll reset. I'll roll. And I roll a 20.
Oh, yeah, that'll hit. Give me the damage.
I hit it. That's not a critical, is it? Or is it a critical because it's a nat 20?
Oh, is it a nat 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, you double your damage. Double your damage and then add your charisma bonus to it.
Okay, so the damage on Eldritch Blast is what? Who knows that off the top of their head? Because
1d8, I believe, right?
I thought it was a D.
1d10? 1d10.
1d10, but it goes up by level, so you should still be 1d10.
That's level 5, I think, is when it goes up.
So it'd be 2d10. Okay, so I'm going to roll
2d10
that.
2d10 plus your charisma bonus.
And any Eldritch, invocations.
So that's 10 plus my charisma bonus, which is going to be a +5. So that's 15 damage.
Nice. Yeah. What does your Eldritch magic look like?
It would be, you want me to narrate what it looks like?
Yeah, narrate what it looks like. This is the first time we're seeing as this game your Eldritch Blast.
Okay, so what would happen is you would see his feet. He would stand on his tippy toes as if barely levitating about 2 inches off, and he would extend his hands, and a purple essence would come from the center of the ruby on his chest and surround his body, coming around and swirling around his arm and releasing from his hand. And within the purple essence, you would see the souls of thousands of people that have come within his grasp come and just penetrate through the creature before him. As that penetration happens, like purplescent white light starts to shine, and instead of hearing crackling and instead of hearing the sounds of crackling and damage, you would hear the screams and horrors of a million souls coming from this.
Yes. And it strikes this thing, and those screaming souls just kind of dance and tear and worm their way through this thing's wooden hide. And it kind of like bellows. This thing looks bloodied to you all, but angered as well. And Carl, it is your turn. Give me a D6 roll for the fire.
Okay, then I need to D10.
You need to give me a D10 roll after that.
Right, 3 for the fire, and a 2 for the D10. Oh, I can't do anything. Sit there and do nothing.
So you're just standing there, dumbstruck, not knowing what to do. Do I run? Do I throw another thing of oil on it? Do I stab it with my sword? Yeah. So you're just kind of confused by what to do. And it is going to attack.
Right?
Yeah. I'm going to randomly decide who it smashes near it. Yeah. Did you make your wisdom save?
I'm going to do it now. Oh, no, failed again.
Okay. That sucks. And so we get 2 attacks. One is going to be against you, Carl, and the other just smashes a red shirt. He's just kind of tossed aside by this claw, a bit of his flesh still dangling from it, and the other one hits you for 7 piercing damage, and it will try to bite you. 18, 26, and the damage is going to be 13 piercing damage as it just kind of tries to bite the upper part of your body off. And that is going to be its turn. It's whittling you guys down. Bernhard, you rolled a 1, so you run off in a random direction, right?
I do apparently, yeah.
Yeah, give me a D12 roll.
You want a D12?
Yeah, just think of a clock. 12 o'clock would be facing the
Always
creature.
one of these.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm running towards 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So you run off to the left of where the creature is if you were to face the creature. So he goes running past you, Davrik and Cornelius. You just see this look of confusion on Bernhard's face. He doesn't even have his weapon. He's left it on the ground. Actually, it's still wedged in this thing's leg. And he just runs past you. So how far do you run? Just your full movement, right?
I believe it's my full movement, yeah. Yeah, use my full movement, all movement.
Yeah. And so give me a save, though. See if you come back to your senses.
Sure, because we all know how that's going to turn out. Oh, shit, 21.
Yeah, so you make your save. So you get probably about 15 or so feet past where Davrik and Cornelius are, and you kind of shake off this confusion, and you're like, what the fuck? And you hear the fighting behind you. And Cornelius, you're up.
All right. Cornelius looks down at Davik, says, sorry, old boy, but I've got to help these other guys get up. He'll turn, center himself, and cast some of the last energy he has to put bless on everyone to try to help with those saving throws and hitting that high AC. As a bonus action, he will draw his bow with an unsteady hand, and using the last of his War Priest abilities, will miss.
Yeah. So in your haste to try to get a shot off, your shot goes wide. And Davik, you're back up again.
I could sustain the Eldritch Blast on him, right?
No, it's a instantaneous. You fire it once. You could do it again though if you wanted.
No, I'm going to use an ability which doesn't really take an action, right? I'm going to use an ability and place a hex on the beast. And
yeah, that's a bonus action. So yeah, you can put hex on it.
So I'm going to say I place the Raven Queen's hex upon thee, and I move my hand in the form of a raven. That hex goes upon the beast. I take my standard sword and I chance it. I try to stab at its neck in the soft spot that I found before.
Cool. So you rush forward and make this attack.
Yeah, definitely. I don't see, with all my compatriots running around going bananas, I think this is a one-on-one fight at this point. And I roll a 4. And I add 5 to that, so I roll a 9.
Did you include your blessed die?
Yeah, you get a D4.
Oh wait, no, yeah. So it's 9, so 13.
Yeah, that's still not going to be enough. The AC
be
was
enough.
18, but so it brings up one of its big arms.
Wait, can I use my inspiration?
You certainly can.
I'm gonna roll again. I am totally gonna roll again. That was horrible. And I roll a 16.
There you go. You hit.
So that's 16 plus 4 from his bless.
Yeah,
so
you definitely got enough.
Okay, good. So then I am going to roll the damage on, because I have him hexed. It's going to be 6 plus my damage roll. I want to make sure I do this right. Okay. So I'm sorry. There's just too many damn windows here. Okay, so 1d8 plus 6, and then my proficiency bonus. So I roll an 8 plus 6. So that's 14 plus my proficiency. That's 16. 16 damage.
You don't add your proficiency bonus to damage.
Oh, sorry.
Attacks. So what was it?
It would have been 14.
14. Nice. That's still good. Yeah, this thing has wounds everywhere. It has spear marks. You see several arrows sticking in it from where the archer had shot it before he fled. And it is your turn, Carl. Give me that D10 roll.
Yeah, resist it.
A 4. What does 4 do?
4.
Doesn't do anything again.
Yeah, you're just standing there. I'm still confused.
Right, I get a D20 plus a D4 from Bless to make the save on this wisdom thing.
Yeah, you can make it this time, I would imagine.
Oh, that is just shy at 12.
I purposely set the DC low.
Let's see. Is it Harry? Harry, I'm going to pass you my inspiration. Go
there
ahead.
You go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
Oh, boy. There you go.
Good.
13 on the die plus the 3 from Bless is a 16. I'm out.
Perfect. Great. Perfect timing, too, because you and Sir Haldane and one of the red shirts get an attack of opportunity as the thing, it barrels past you, Carl, fleeing back into the woods the way it came. So you guys all get attacks of opportunity.
Rolling off the table. That is a total.
Haldane does hit it.
Total of 21.
Yeah, that's a hit. Give me the damage.
I can get sneak attack.
You can. I was going to say you can add your sneak attack because you have the red shirt near you.
Right. Total of that's a lot of damage.
Nice.
20 damage total.
Nice. Yeah, you hit it pretty solid. Give me the fire damage one last time.
Oh,
please.
sure. 3 again.
All right, cool. Yeah, so this thing looks pretty bloodied as it kind of just retreats back into the forest. You can see its lumbering form. It fades from most of your guys' sight, but you still see it, Davrik, breaking off through the woods. About 40, no, probably about the 60 feet. You see it bend down and grab something and then start to move again. And it is now Bernhardt's turn.
Okay. Do you see that divine smite that I burned on Rusk? Are you counting that against me?
Counting it against you?
Yeah. Did I burn that, or was it just flavor?
Flavor all the way.
Oh, good man, good man. In that case, I'm gonna dash and cast, if it's still within range after 60 feet of me running towards it, Compel Duel.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it's difficult terrain for you. The only person that doesn't impede is Cornelius. So you can only go, if you dash, you can only go 30 feet, which would put you probably about 40 or 50 feet from it.
Yeah, so that's out of range. Damn.
Let me see. I think it has a group benefit. Let me see. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel.
Yeah, but that's why you're not in combat. Not for combat. That's
okay,
just
yeah.
for like if you're traveling.
All right, rock on. That's totally up to you.
Well, yeah, because when you're traveling, it's because when you're going on, you're like, all right, don't step there. All right, you're kind of guiding them where to step and how to go traverse through it. In combat, you can't do that. In combat, everyone's kind of just like, oh shit, run around. So yeah,
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So Cornelius, you're up. You see this thing start fleeing into the woods. You see it pick. No, you can't see it pick anything up. It's too dark. The only one that can see it is Davrik.
Let's
Could I
see.
say instead of the Compel Duel that I cast Hunter's Mark instead?
Yes.
Can I make out its form? Can I see it at all?
It is so it's dim light out that way. Around you guys is where the torches are kind of like laying down. Actually, you know something? It's on fire. So yes, you can see it.
Right.
The fire's not quite as big, but you can see it. Yeah.
Is it within 120 feet of me?
It is.
All right. He's going to lean on his bow and point his finger at it. Die, thing, die. And he's going to attack with Guiding Bolt.
Nice.
A laser beam of light extends from his finger. Let's see if he can hit the broadside of a barn. I don't think he does. Let's see. That'll be an 11. No, it goes wide.
Yeah. So it strikes a tree, so it steps just past a tree, so you hit the tree instead.
For effect, the tree explodes
Yes.
and glimmers, casting fireworks down. It was a second level guiding bolt. There was a lot of damage in that thing.
Yeah. It eviscerates the tree. Davrik, you're up. Muted. You're muted, bud.
You said it's within 120 feet?
Oh yeah, it's easily within 120 feet of you.
Okay, I cast Eldritch Blast against it again one more time.
Oh, perfect.
And the same scenario comes out if I actually succeed on this roll. So it's going to be a ranged attack. It's going to be a d20. I roll a 10 plus my 5. And do I get the
15.
plus 4?
1d4. So roll a d4 and add that.
4. So it's like a 15 plus 1d4. And I will roll that. And that is a 4.
Nice. So you hit.
So that's 19. So then the damage you said was 2d10, right?
No, it's just one. It's just a 1d10.
Oh, 1d10.
You got 2d10 because you got the nat 20 last time.
Gotcha. Okay, so then I roll an 8.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you hit it. You hear it bellow, and you hear it kind of goes, and so it's a much different sound. It's hurt.
And I
see it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You see it start kind of lumbering back towards you, and you see it's got something in its hands.
I run and I say, "My lady," and I just start running towards the beast.
Right. And as you're running towards her, Davik, he's holding her up between both hands and he's got her held outright. And you see he's putting tension between her, like he's going to rip her apart. What do you want to do?
Oh, he's holding her hostage, or like he...
No, he's holding her up. Give me an insight roll.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can decipher.
It's about 35 feet away from you guys, so you guys can all see this. It's holding up this Duchess's daughter.
For the insight roll, I roll a 5 plus 3. Not much.
Yeah, so an 8. Anyone else that is looking at it can give me an insight. Actually, everybody can give me an insight roll.
18.
Cornelius, it looks as if it's making an offering to you. Maybe it's like saying, "Don't kill me, and I'll share this with you."
Cornelius is mad. I don't think he's even going to share that passing thought. He wants this thing dead.
Right. Yeah, but you would know 18's high enough to know the way he's holding it. When this thing is thinking share, you're thinking he's going to rip her apart and offer half of her to you guys.
Oh, shit.
Because this is a beast. It just eats. It doesn't have intelligence like you. It's thinking you guys just want the food it has.
That's a hard roll. That's
what you don't know that, Davik. But
I know.
So the only one that knows that that's what it's trying to do is Cornelius. The other two see that he's offering offering her to you guys, but you don't know that he's going to rip her apart. So what do? You got to act quickly.
He's going to take a shot with sharpshooter.
Do it.
Maybe he can kill this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 23.
Nice. So you hit, and that's going to be plus 10, right? Give me your damage.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 damage.
Yes. Tell us how you do it. So this arrow goes flying past your head, Davik, towards this creature, and take it away, Cornelius.
With blood running down his forehead, obscuring his left eye, he's looking down the bow, hands shaking, aiming with only his right eye, seeing this girl, the daughter of one of his best friends, his master, his lord. He pulls the bow back, and then even a little further, and lets it fly. The arrow skims underneath the girl and strikes just below the throat, disappearing from view. The creature gargles a different sound than we've heard to this point. Reams left, reams right, and then falls over backwards, stone cold dead.
Yes, it is dead. Treehide is no more. The young girl falls to the soft ground, and the thing shudders a little bit, and then stops moving.
I'm already running toward the girl, so we'll assume that I get there first.
Yeah. You also see Sir Helden running towards her too.
I'm Bernhardt, who's running towards his sword.
You would see emotion come out of Davik, and he would yell like at the top of his lungs as if he was on the verge of crying. He would yell, "Cornelius!" And he just like grabs the girl and tries to see if she's alive, putting his hand on her nose.
Yeah, you see that she's breathing shallowly. She's been buffeted around the head, knocked unconscious. You can see bruises covering her body. Her dress is torn. She's definitely bloodied, but she's alive. She weakly opens her eyes and she smiles at you. She goes, Sir Davik, Sir Haldane, you've both have saved me. And then she passes out And I think that's where we'll end the one shot, have you guys having saved her. And if you were to go a little bit further in the woods, you would find half a horse and a chest of coins that this creature had taken because it liked the shiny, that you guys would have recovered. But well done. You guys saved her. The last group that I ran through this, they didn't save her. They didn't understand what the troll was doing, and he ripped her in half and gave half of her to them and then took off with the other half. But great game, guys.
That was fantastic. Thank you for running that, man. I had a blast.
Yeah. So I'm just going to end the stream, and